don't promote boxers, we promote boxing. And this, of course, is Wednesday Night Fights, brought to you by sportsbetting.ag. Go to ProBoxTV.com. Also check out our ProBox TV YouTube channel. And we welcome our viewers tonight watching on Fubo TV, Canela, Fox Deportes, and Rogers Sportsnet in Canada. We get things started with a 10-round matchup in the welterweight division. 14-2, Omar Juarez, whose nickname, translated to English, means lightning. His best attribute is his speed, as in, you know, like Rocky and Mickey, speed is what we need. His opponent, the artist formerly known as the Son of St. Pete, is now older, has a family, so he is Mr. St. Pete, Clarence Booth, making his third appearance here on ProBox TV. Our co-main event is a 10-round altercation in the super lightweight division. Southpaw Jesus Saracho, who made his ProBox TV debut 14 months ago, handing the Rain Man, Cesar Francis, the first loss of his professional career, fights the former member of the Dominican Republic's national team, Starling Castillo, a tall southpaw with good power. And our 10-round main event is for the WBA Continental Americas Lightweight title. Joseph Adorno. Joseph Adorno was born in New Jersey. His mother and father are both from Puerto Rico. And don't blink, 12 of his 15 career knockouts have come in the first 2 rounds. His opponent, the Axeman, Nicolas Walters, the former WBA featherweight world champion, whose lone professional loss was to that guy known as Loma. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Goldberg, of course, joined by my powerful partners, the Magic Man, the former 2-time world champion, Paulie Maldonado, the former world champion, Chris Algieri, Joseph Adorno, Paulie. Interesting matchup in our main event. If styles make fights, this should be a good one. But listening to your preview, you said there's a lot of questions that need to be answered with Adorno.
And with Adorno, he's been a bit inconsistent. He can be lights out. I mean, great power, has a laser left hook. Reminds me a little bit of that Nonito Donaire left hook. Really speedy left hook. When he hits you with it and he hits it, lands it clean, you're on the canvas. You know, he's shown he can perform, has a draw against Jermaine Ortiz. He's shown he can belong at the higher level. But of course, disciplinary issues, not making weight at times, some hiccups. And so all of a sudden, he finds himself here having to be in a situation where he needs this win over the ex-world champion Walters to kind of get back on that position where people really expect him and that he should be. Let's see if tonight he can live up to the expectation we've been waiting for.
You know, Chris, the Magic Man was magical in segueing into me teeing up the Axeman, Nicolas Walters, to you. As you said, he was once the man in the division, and if you don't believe it, ask Nonito Donaire.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the most dangerous guys in the sport, in any division. He was the boogeyman of the featherweight division. He beat Victor Chinyan. He destroyed Nonito Donaire, which we've never seen before. He gave Mariaga his very first loss. I mean, this guy used to be lights out. He was a very, very dangerous puncher at 126. Let's see what he can do. But that was 8 years ago. 8 years ago in 2 weight classes below. Let's see if he still has that magic sauce.
Yes, indeed. 8 years ago now, back for another chance. And really, Paulie, that's what it's all about, is a hiccup or two may put you on the fastest rising platform, by the way, in the sport of boxing, ProBox TV, for an opportunity to shoot right up to the top.
And that's the thing. Adorno was on his way up, but he's had some hiccups. He needs this. Walters is kind of coming back after a layoff. He's got some wins he's reeled off in a row. He needs a win over a guy like Adorno to say, hey, you know what? This guy was promising I can get this win. I belong back at the top in a new weight class. I'm curious to see how Walters reacts to the power of a bona fide lightweight like Adorno.
I mean, you know, Chris, we're talking about opponents who are first ballot Hall of Famers like Donaire and Lomachenko as opponents for our guys who will fight tonight.
Well, listen, neither one of these guys have ever lost to a bad fighter. They've only lost to very, very good fighters. Nicolas Walters has only lost to Vasily Lomachenko, one of the best fighters we've seen of our generation. So both these guys are in a good position to put on a great show and to see what's next with a big win on our platform.
Clarence Booth is here again. He was part of the Last Chance tournament. Listening to the fighter interviews yesterday, I mean, this kid should be our new spokesman. No, you know, insult needed, you know, or meant to you, Matt. magic man, but he's magical in the way that he gets ProBox TV as well.
You know what? Clarence Booth is a local guy. He loves how the buzz that has been going around locally about ProBox TV. We get full crowds here. As you guys notice on TV every single time we have a show every 2 weeks, and you guys are tuning in. You guys know this. But Booth himself is a guy who sees it firsthand and has fought here quite a few times, and he knows he himself is one of those opponents who's not really an opponent. He comes up and he tests you. He gave Kelvin Davis all he could handle last fight. I mean, last time we had Booth here, I thought that fight was right up in the air for a decision. Davis edged it out, but against an undefeated prospect, Booth is still giving you money's worth.
He certainly is, and he did say, Chris, that Kelvin Davis was hugging and holding him like he was his girlfriend, but we'll get into that more as the night continues. Let's get things started here inside our ProBox TV World Headquarters, and as promised, we get it going with a 10-round matchup in the welterweight division. Our odds brought to you by our feature presenter, sportsbetting.ag, our title sponsor here on Wednesday Night Fights. You see the numbers for Juarez and Booth. Booth wants to prove many much differently here tonight. Our tale of the tape for this, our first of 3 great battles. It is Brownsville, Texas's Juarez, 24 years old, 12 years younger than his opponent, Mr. St. Pete, Clarence Booth. This fight was contracted at 144 pounds. Slight reach advantage for Mr. St. Pete himself, the man we just talked about, Clarence Booth. To get the official introductions for our first fight here on this particular Wednesday night, here is Jim Sorensen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ProBox TV Event Center here in Plant City, Florida. Let's make some noise! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, with our first televised fight of the evening. This fight is scheduled for 10 rounds in the welterweight division. Your judges for this bout, Bretton Jackson, Cheeto Wilgo, and Rodolfo Aguilar. And your referee for this fight is Michael DeJesus. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black and gold trunks. He weighed in at 144 pounds even. His record, 21 wins, 9 losses with 13 wins by knockout. All the way from St. Petersburg, Florida, please welcome Clarence, Mr. St. Pete Booth. And his opponent, standing in the red corner, wearing the black trunks with red and gold trim. He weighed in at 142.6 pounds. His record, 14 wins, just 2 losses with 5 wins by knockout. He is from Brownsville, Texas. Please welcome Omar Relampago Juarez.
All right, guys, the rules are 14 in the locker room and in the corner. You know what I expect. Touch gloves if you want to. If not, go back to your corner. All right, sure.
Omar Juarez and Clarence Booth to get things started here on your boxing channel, ProBox TV. Here we go. It's time to fight. Black and gold trunks for Clarence Booth. Comes out working the jab, and a good answer for the man in the black with the red and gold, Omar Juarez. Born and raised right on the Mexican border in Brownsville, Texas.
I think that was where Manuel Augustus was from.
And
crazy guy.
Crazy guy, and guys that have motivated over the years.
Yeah.
These guys are not taking time to feel each other out.
But that's like Booth's style all the time.
Yeah.
Booth always brings it, you know? He's a solid guy who's always going to test you. He's no frills, really, nothing fancy. Won't you know, impress you fully with his arsenal of skills, but he's a solid guy, fundamentally sound, and protects himself well and knows how to bring the fight to you.
Talked about that last fight he had here on ProBox TV against Kelvin Davis. It was an 8-rounder unanimous decision victory. Went to the oldest of the DB3, Kelvin Davis, much to the dismay of Clarence Booth, who wants to victimize Juarez here tonight.
Clarence Booth finding a nice range right here. Had Omar Juarez against the ropes, letting those hands go nicely.
And then one issue I had with Booth again in the Davis fight was that he didn't cut off the ring. I thought he would have made his life a lot easier if he cut off the ring. Let's see if he starts backing up Juarez, if he's going to be cutting off the ring. It's a good right hand there by Booth, backs up Juarez to the ropes.
Last 4 opponents coming into tonight, 18-0-1, 16-0, 16-0, 10-0 for Clarence Booth. And tonight he faces Omar Juarez, who is 14-2.
I mean, he's not shy by the level of opposition he's going to face, you know. That's why he goes by the name Mister. He demands that respect.
That and having about 5 children means you can't be, you know, the same kid anymore. You got to go to Mr. Paulie.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It'll switch his stance from Clarence Booth.
And Juarez is one of those guys you got to look past the numbers. He only has 5 KOs and his 14 wins, but he's got a good punch. He's a physically strong guy. You can see even the way he's punching now. He's got heavy hands.
I'd like to see him get off a little bit more though here. He's kind of backing up, kind of, you know, being studious here, but a little bit too studious, and you're gonna let Booth get into a rhythm here of him kind of trying to walk you down more. I'd like to see Juarez start to take the initiative a little bit, being first. Good body shots there by Juarez, and Booth responds with a good head shot to the head.
Nice evenly matched fight we have here. These guys are both finding home for their shots. Both look confident. Good right hand there from Juarez. Backs Booth up for momentarily.
Both working the body.
One thing you don't want to do, if you're not a big puncher, you cannot afford to have guys outwork you. You've got to at least make up for it with a solid work ethic in the rounds. Let's see how this fight progresses for Juarez.
Stay active with that jab, right? Don't let him catch no steam. He ain't got shit for you.
First time Rick Nunez is cornering Omar Juarez. Keith Stewart has been with Clarence Booth for many, many years. Keith has told us in the past that he believes Clarence has just about everything. Just a late bloomer. He is in need of a win tonight. Black and gold for Clarence Booth. Omar Juarez, black with red and gold.
One thing we know about Booth, he's always in good condition. He's very durable.
One thing I like, he always comes to win.
Yes.
You know, no matter how many setbacks he's got, it doesn't turn him. He never really comes to that opponent mentality. He comes to bring the fight to you.
He's had a string of setbacks, but nobody has stopped him in that time. So he feels like he can still be very effective, and this would be a big statement as he switches southpaw again, Chris, if Clarence Booth can take out a 14-2 Omar Juarez, who's 12 years younger.
Yeah, you get the sense that Booth understands that he can win this fight.
Yes.
You know, he's got a different body language tonight. And listen, a guy with 9 losses would normally would be relegated to off-TV bouts, but the way that Booth brings it, these are the kind of fights that we have on ProBox TV. Blood from the nose of Booth.
It took a clean right hand there from Juarez. Let's see if that raises the confidence of Juarez enough to start getting busy. So Booth still putting the numbers on him.
Nice left hooks there. Quadruple left hand from Booth there. High, low, high, low.
You see Juarez came over the top with a right hand. Let's see, he's getting his numbers up. And that's the thing, if you're not a big puncher, you got to get your numbers up.
Juarez loves that hook to the body. That's something Rick Nunez talked about during the fighter interviews. Bob Santos also assisting in the corner of Omar Juarez tonight. Loves that left body shot and a good counter with the right.
Good timing on the right hand from Omar Juarez. He's being able to split the guard of Booth, which is why we see blood from the nose.
Paulie's smocked up, so you and I are the ones in danger, Chris.
My dry cleaning bill is getting very expensive.
My dry cleaner just thinks I'm really weird. which may be valid. Again to the southpaw stance. Booth, before his last fight against Davis, had spent some time training at altitude in Colorado Springs. For this camp, he has stayed home just about 45 minutes without traffic away from his family in St. Petersburg. 30 seconds, round 2. Scheduled for 10.
Juarez is starting to sharpen up that right hand. He's picking his spots really well.
Juarez, the Mexican-American.
Juarez now dropping some feints, trying to change the pace a little bit, trying to change the range a little bit. One thing about Booth, he brings consistent pressure, but he doesn't really change a lot of the height or rhythm to it. So you can, if you start changing rhythm to him, you can confuse him a little bit, and Juarez is trying to do that now.
Combination.
Switch up, remember, take a step. Shoot and shoot. All right? Just let it fly, baby.
Mike Goldberg, Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri. Our first fight here on a Wednesday night.
Here we see Booth putting on that pressure, letting those hands go, and those are those sharp right hands that I was talking about from Omar Juarez. He's been picking his spots really well in that second round. He got outworked a little bit in round 1, but round 2 he was able to settle down, pick those punches, and find those holes in Booth's defense.
Yeah, and I'd like to see some more of what he was doing at the end of that last round now. You know, kind of fighting at different range and showing different levels. You know, again, like I said about Booth, even when he showed it in the Davis fight, he brings consistent pressure, but it's kind of the same look, the same kind of pressure, the same speed of pressure. Somebody who's on another level should eventually start to get the timing of it.
Black, red, and gold for Juarez, black and gold for Booth. May of last year, the most recent bout for Juarez, his second setback. But Chris, it was against the Olympic gold medalist from Cuba, the former 2-weight world champion. It was a very highly ranked opponent.
Yeah, Rances Bartholomew is he's an excellent fighter, a little bit older now, but still very capable. And Juarez gave him all he could handle.
See, again, on the ropes there, Booth had Juarez against the ropes, but he didn't really attack. Why? Because Juarez was changing his height. He was showing different looks even when he's up against the ropes. And it kind of makes Booth have to observe. Good right hand there by Juarez, but Booth pounces right back.
Good pace to the start of this 10-round matchup.
Oh, beautiful right hand from Booth, right over the top. That was a nice change of speed there. Caught Juarez looking to counter.
Yeah, and that's the reaction you're looking to get. I think Juarez is trying to look to counter, trying to set up a counter with that feint. But not only did Booth not bite on the feint, he just threw a right hand.
Clarence will switch. We have seen that the multiple times he has fought here on ProBox TV. Seems to, so far, being more aggressive and having a better effect in an outcome with the punches from the southpaw stance.
And I'd say it's early on, but he's doing a much better job of cutting off the ring. He's controlling the center. He's taking lateral steps with Juarez as he steps to the side. Good adjustment from last fight with Kelvin Davis.
Yeah, I think we harped on it a lot, Chip.
Yeah. I'm sure he watched it back.
Oh, good right hand there by Juarez. And another one.
And you talk about that Juarez fight against the Olympic gold medalist. When asked about it, Omar was very proper, if you will. He said he felt he did everything, but it didn't go his way. Take the experience, keep moving forward. His trainer, Rick Nunez, said, we clearly won that fight. he let it just go. And it was only the second loss of Juarez's career, Paulie.
Yeah, and that's why he can, he's still got enough of a record where he can make a run here, but he's got to get a win tonight. He's got to look impressive. So about 20 seconds ago, he tried to turn southpaw, then he went back to the right-handed stance. So both guys have shown stance changes on occasion in this fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Juarez would do that. He's having really good success with that right-hand counter and those left hook digs to the body.
Juarez did a 6-week training camp in San Antonio, Texas, to get ready for this fight tonight. Again, southpaw for Mr. St. Pete. And a good answer from Omar Juarez.
There's that pressure from Booth.
See that right hand there from Booth? That was right off the foot feint from Juarez. See, he tried the foot feint and Booth didn't bite on it. Then later in the round, see Juarez putting together some numbers, together straight right hand, come back with a little short hook right hand again, and then of course stepping out.
Juarez has faced very high-level competition. Clarence Booth will fight anybody, any place, anytime. Short notice for this one, just about 3 weeks' notice on his return to ProBox TV. Round number 4. Black, red, and gold for Omar Juarez. Clarence Booth in the black and gold.
And what a testament to Booth, man, a guy who stays in the gym, taking a 10-rounder on 3 weeks' notice against a very good fighter here on ProBox TV. And
in the fighter interviews, as you know, Chris, he said, thank God I was already in the gym and I was able to take this fight.
Oh, big shots here from Booth.
I tell you, you can't just stand right in front of Booth like that. He will put the numbers on you. You got to change range. You got to change your height, as I was saying earlier. You know, when Juarez changes height and changes range, Booth kind of sometimes stares at him, even if he's following him. But when you stand just in front of him and you don't do that, Booth will put those numbers together.
Yeah, he really ran those hands nice.
Juarez did go the distance in both of his losses. Both were by majority decision. Omar Juarez with the right hand.
Right off the feint. You see what he did there? Level change. Dropped like he was going low to the stomach and then came up with the right hand to the head. Those little subtle changes are the things that tend to confuse Booth because he's so one-track minded on pressuring you.
Champ, you know where you learn things like that? You spend 12 rounds with Rances Bartholomew.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Guys like that will teach you all the tricks. You'll see them.
Omar Juarez has spent his entire professional career under the PBC banner. Wants to represent here tonight on ProBox TV.
Ooh,
oh,
nice.
Man, over the top again with that right hand.
A little short right hand has been working here and there for Juarez when he throws it.
That one, he was nice. He went up and under with the right hand to the body and then came up over the top. Under, over.
Juarez has said he wants to fight Rolly Romero. 15-1, 13 knockouts. And guys, I think Rolly has a big one coming up in just a few days, if my mind serves me correctly.
Big pay-per-view on PBC this weekend. Big boxing weekend this weekend. You know, we got Oscar Valdez on ESPN Friday night, Top Rank on Saturday night. We got the big PBC pay-per-view with Tim Tszyu against Fundora. I mean, this is a bevy of boxing fights. And, of course, don't forget, Zurdo Ramirez, also on DAZN as well for the Cruiserweight title. So, really, boxing fans, a weekend where we stay home, kick back a few brewskis, and chill and watch the fight.
Fundora and Tszyu, the main event, the co-main event. Rolly against Pitbull for the WBA Super Lightweight Championship. 30 seconds, round number 4.
And who knows, if Juarez wants to get a shot at the winner, he's going to have to impress here tonight. He can't, these aren't fights where you can just win. I mean, ProBox will give you the platform, and we've seen a lot of guys impress on ProBox and move on to some bigger fights. These are great matchups we put on, and the fans at home know, but you got to win impressively if you want to get that shot at that higher level.
A couple of weeks ago, we had Hot Rod again, guys, and we had talked as the fight went deeper and deeper. Man, it would be something special if he could finish this fight, and man, did he do so.
Yeah, and he's got a couple calls. I'm not going to put it out there, but he's got a couple calls.
We got some inside info.
Wednesday night fights. On the next Wednesday night fights, April 10th, don't miss the main event. Angelo Leo returns to ProBox to take on Eduardo Baez of Mexico. Live from the ProBox Event Center in Plant City. Get your tickets at ProBoxTV.com or take your chances at the door. Wednesday night fights.
Here we're saying we see Booth pressuring, letting those hands go. This is when he got to run those hands, landed some nice, decent shot there. But Omar actually was moving his head quite well.
Not there. Good left hand there from Booth, though.
Yeah, this is the beginning of that sequence there. Oh no, that was the sequence where he was landing those good shots. One of the better moments of the round for Booth, which actually was a pretty good Juarez round.
Our first fight of the night continues. Welterweight matchup scheduled for 10 rounds. Combined record of the last 5 opponents who have faced Clarence Booth in the black and gold. Juarez tonight, black with red and gold. A combined record of 75-2-1. And that includes Paulie Michael Dutchover, who he met in our last chance tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Very close.
That was a fun tournament that we had here on ProBox.
Man, was it?
Oh, man. Good work here from Booth to open up the round. Booth made an adjustment. He came in lower. He lowered his level, bent his knees, was letting those hands go. Sometimes he has a tendency to get a little bit tall on his punches. That's why that right hand from Omar Juarez has been finding his home. Ooh, good dig to the body there from Juarez.
Yeah, and they mentioned they like that body shot.
They're both doing it quite well. Oh, man.
But sometimes you get hit with a good one and it reminds you to come back.
Yeah.
Again, that under and over, Jim.
Yep.
Juarez been using that on the inside, and especially when Booth turns southpaw, there's an opening for it on the inside. There it is again.
Body head from the left side, Paulie, then body head from the right side.
Yep. Because when Booth turns southpaw, there's an opening there for that double right hand on the inside, and Juarez has been noticing it and using it.
Tip my hats once again to the matchmakers here at ProBox TV. You got two very different styles. Booth, very much workmanlike. Lets those hands go. Nothing fancy, like you said, champ. Juarez doing some really high-level stuff in there. Really pretty stuff, setting things up, looking for things, using his eyes. But both men finding success. Oh, man, there's that right hand again.
Round 5 of a potential 10. They've been fighting in a phone booth the last couple of rounds. Busy hands from Booth. Juarez wants to answer.
In past fights, I've seen Juarez really let his hands go and be a very busy guy. But he came out boxing this fight.
Yeah, and he's also not really finding the range. At this close range, I feel like Booth also doesn't mind those little exchanges.
No, Booth, this is where Booth wants to be. But he has taken some heavy shots.
Yeah, and Juarez does like that left hook to the body. It'll be interesting to see as the fight progresses if Booth slows down because of it.
Mentioned the durability of Booth early, but man, you keep getting hit with those right hands on the temple. They add up quick. There's another one.
And worthy of note, Clarence Booth had been out of the ring for 622 days, a year and 8 months plus, when he returned to ProBox TV and fought unbeaten Kelvin Davis. This time, not such a long wait for his return, and he looks good thus far.
Yeah, and he's come back pretty rejuvenated because I thought he gave a good account of himself in the Davis fight as well.
Yeah, he worked very hard that night. Oh, big left hook upstairs from Juarez. Excellent round.
Little short jab,
you gotta keep touching and keep your defense tight. Don't give back to him. Keep spinning, touch and spin.
Little motivation in the corner of both fighters. Omar Juarez has been a motivational speaker since age 16, right out of high school. He said at age 8 he used to listen to motivational speeches, and words from very important people changed his life. Now he's looking to do the same. Very well-spoken, very humble, very dangerous boxer, but a young man from Brownsville, Texas, who understands his surroundings and wants to do more than just win fights.
Man, that's awesome.
Isn't that great?
That's so great to hear fighters have other aspirations other than the ring. Especially something like that's going to be so helpful to people.
And it is very true. The right person says the right thing at the right time. That can stick in a young man or a young girl's mind, and it does. It changes the course of life almost immediately. Booth with a lot of pressure here.
Yeah, Booth has been starting these rounds very aggressively, forcing Omar Juarez to fight in a much closer distance.
And Juarez really doesn't do anything to hold off that range either. He kind of just lets Booth walk in the front door, and then he winds up in these situations. So, you know, maybe he likes it, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. There's moments where he sometimes gets the better of it when Booth is on the inside, but
yeah, but he's
also
allowing
giving
Booth to work.
Exactly. You're giving Booth a chance to do some good work as well. And really, he doesn't stop Booth from coming in. Look, Booth just kind of makes his way in. Sometimes there, actually, it was Juarez who closed the gap and just lays out on the inside now. So sometimes it's your choice. Good right hand again. That under overhand ball. You mentioned it before. That one's been working. And again, Booth from the southpaw stance takes it cleanly.
You know what it is? Booth tends, like I said, he tends to pull back straight up in the air. So when he gets hit with that body shot, he pulls up straight, and he's open for that right hand over the top. Juarez is taking that cue nicely.
Is that something you see from both sides, Chris, from the orthodox and the southpaw stance?
I actually remember from sparring with him. That's something that he's just always done. Tends to get tall when he punches.
No punching, no punching. Stop it up. Box. Let go, Red, let go, let go.
Yeah, you spent a little time in the gym with Mr. St. Pete.
Yeah, came all the way out here.
Yeah.
Came all the way out here to St. Pete to get that work with Booth. Great guy, very, very strong, always good work.
The artist formerly known as son of St. Pete. 5 kids later, he is Mr. St. Pete.
And I'll tell you, he spars very much the way he fights.
Yeah.
It's a high work rate, likes to be physical, switches sides.
Been with Keith Stewart for a long time. We've talked in the past that he has sparred with Clearwater's own Keith Thurman.
Ooh, good rolling hook there from Booth.
But again, Juarez doesn't really maintain range. You see, he just he's allowing Booth to pressure him this way and be on the inside. Here he's moving, but let's see.
Well, he doesn't have a consistent jab.
No,
and he lets, like you said, he lets Booth walk in the front door. And let's be honest, Booth does not have great feet. He's got slow feet. He steps into his position.
The body shots there by Juarez. Good moment there by Juarez. And you see what happens when you change range, when you change distance on Booth. That's when you can confuse him.
Yeah,
when you stay there standing still, Booth doesn't work.
And when you wake him up, he comes back strong.
Big time. Juarez is creative with the different angles that he throws from. That under-over, as Paulie and Chris have talked about, utilized very well thus far. Wednesday night fights on ProBox TV, brought to you by sportsbetting.ag.
To let him steal his round.
You got to dominate on the inside. You can't let him
You got to let your hands go and keep tight distance out there.
Okay. I'm under that water, circle that fucking ring, okay? Let's go. Doing great. Pick it up.
Clarence Booth, black and gold trunks, comes out southpaw. Omar Juarez, black with the red and gold. Booth closes the distance quickly, keeping those hands busy.
This is how we started the last 3 rounds, being very, very aggressive, letting those hands go, landing good shots, too. That left hook is out of home.
Two-fisted combination there from Booth. You saw at the end of the last round, and when Juarez lands some shots, changes range, changes distance, and throws some more shots, he will kind of trick Booth. Because again, Champ, you mentioned Booth has slow feet. You stand still, you stand in quicksand, Booth will run off those numbers and those two-fisted combinations.
I think of Booth as like heavy artillery. Once he gets there, he's got plenty of offense, plenty of punches, plenty of firepower, but he's got to get there first.
Good counter from Omar Juarez. Thanks to all joining us tonight, ProBoxTV.com, our ProBox TV YouTube channel. And as always, we welcome our viewers watching on Fubo TV, Canela, Fox Deportes, and Rogers Sportsnet in Canada. Round number 7. Mike Goldberg with my powerful partners, the former 2-time world champion, the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi, former world champion, Chris Algieri. And man, these guys have gotten us started in style.
Man, the conditioning of Booth, he's looking really good.
And that's the thing, man. If you're Juarez, you got to know you're in Booth territory. You know, Booth doesn't live far from here. you know, if you're going to come out and let it be this close, then if you don't get it in the end, you know, you can't really cry about it either, because you got to go and take charge against a guy who has 9 losses. If you're a 14-2 guy, you're supposed to take charge more. And I know Booth is not the easiest guy with 9 losses, but if you're Juarez and you're somebody who's supposed to be impressing here, you know, at a good double, triple right hand there, it backs Booth up to the ropes. You've got to make sure you separate yourself and show the class.
I mean, he is at times, but he's just allowing Booth to do too much work.
But the inconsistency is going to really confuse the judges here, man.
Clarence Booth looking for his first win, Paulie, since October of 2021. But again, we talked about the tough opponents, right?
Yeah, but he's in all those fights, and that's why he's here tonight. He's in all those fights, and he shows up to fight every single time, and he gives you your money's worth every single time. And tonight he's doing the same thing. He may come up short. He may win tonight. We'll see. But he's giving you your money's worth every time. But remember, Juarez's trainer also talked about the Barthélemy and said, oh, we won that fight. We won. Bro, if you're fighting fights like this where you don't separate yourself, you're putting yourself in a position where the judges you're just at the mercy of the judges. You know, you might get it, you might not get it. You've got to show a class above once you start to show get in that ring, because if you do this consistently, you put yourself in a position to get decisions you may not agree with at times.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, champ. You know, you see guys with a lot of draws, and you're like, man, how do you get so many draws? And then you watch them fight, and you're like, oh, now I understand. You don't separate.
10 seconds, guys.
That's one thing with Booth, though. He's going to fight 3 minutes of every round for 10 rounds.
But he still needs your cooperation.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
his feet are in quicksand. If you let him, he will.
Once again, we see Mr. St. Pete. Clarence does not mind fighting in a phone booth.
You see that double right hand there from Juarez. We over like Chris Algieri was mentioning earlier. There it is again there as well. And that one actually backed Booth up all the way to the ropes. That last one was the sweetest one. Booth had his hand in good position, but still slipped in there. Plus, you standing straight up, going back straight back in the line. Not the best defensive technique in that moment.
Close fight on the judges' scorecards as we enter round number 8. Juarez, black, red, and gold. Booth in the black and gold. Primarily has fought from the southpaw stance here tonight.
Oh, good chopping right hand from Omar Juarez there. Catches Booth reaching.
As I mentioned, first time Nunes officially the lead in the corner of Omar Juarez.
See, this round's a little bit different. Juarez has not met Booth in the center of the ring. Booth came right at him, but Juarez took a half step back, countered with the right hand, moved around a little bit. That's the difference. When he meets him in the center, like you said, champ, you're cooperating with what Booth wants to do. You make a little bit of distance, and you have your opportunity to pick your shots better, like that.
And again, that's also why he's not separating himself completely in this fight. That one combination keeps working, though. The under-over keeps working, but he needs to separate himself to throw it and give himself a chance to throw it.
He can't miss that right hand. Yeah, Booth's a dangerous guy to let into the fight early, because when you're in the conditioning and the durability that he has, late in the fight, man, he really pours it on.
And Kelvin Davis knew that for the entire 8 rounds, tried to slow the pace quite often of Clarence Booth, and came away with the unanimous decision victory, much to Mr. St. Pete's dismay.
Yeah, I thought that was a closer fight. Yeah. But I think also if Booth was cutting off the ring, he may have actually deserved the win in that fight. But, you know, the small little subtleties that cost you a fight sometimes.
The crowd was not happy that night.
Not at all.
I can't help but think what you said earlier, Goldie, that was his first fight in a very long time, and now he had just fought. So we got a different version of Clarence Booth tonight than we did against Kelvin Davis.
Quick jab lands for Clarence Booth.
Yeah, he's bringing the pressure. Ooh. I tell you, Juarez is doing another under-over tactic lately, too. He's using the touch jab underneath and bringing a left hook to the head.
Tried it right there, Paulie.
Yep.
Yeah, Juarez being a little slippery, a little trickier this round, and having a lot of success.
But again, you notice he's changing distance, he's changing height. It's when you do those little subtle things, you're bringing a different level of skill to the table that Booth has to deal with, and his pressure can be offset in some spots.
Final seconds of round 8.
10 seconds.
This is the first 10-rounder scheduled for Booth since November of 2022.
Get everything. You need everything. When you inside, let your shots go. I don't want 1, 2. I want 4, 6, 7, 8.
But step left and shoot that left hook, because he's wide open for it. He's wide open for it, okay?
Left hook?
Yeah, when he turns southpaw,
Okay.
drop that fucking right hand with your head outside that fucking line. Okay. Take that little half step and let's shoot. Let's go.
Pretty clear in the corner of Juarez. Very motivated is Keith Stewart, who, of course, a local legend, worked with Winky Wright, Jeff Lacey, and many others. Round number 9 between Omar Juarez and Clarence Booth.
Clear, concise, technical advice in the corner of Juarez. More cheerleading in the corner of Booth.
Yeah, because it's not really a lot of technical. Oh, good shot there from Juarez. Yeah, buzzed a little bit the legs of Booth.
The corner of Juarez said he was wide open for the left hook, and there it was. Yeah, Booth's legs are betraying him.
Clarence Booth has only been stopped twice in his career, both against Russian fighters, and it was well over 7 years ago the last time it happened.
Yeah, one of those is Sergey Lipinets.
Yes.
Former world champion. Excellent, excellent fighter.
No punching, no punching.
I may have numbers, but your memory is spectacular, Chris Algieri.
This is my weight class. I'm not that far retired.
Good right hand there from Juarez, and again, he catching Booth in the southpaw. He's in a southpaw stance.
His corner said when he turns southpaw, throw that right hand, get your head offline, but he's open for that left hook all the time.
If there is a need for one man or the other to make a big statement in these last 2 rounds, so far Omar Juarez is doing it here in the 9th.
Yeah, Booth looks very woozy.
And that's the thing. That's what I told you about. You got to separate yourself when you're of this class, right?
Yep.
And that Juarez is finally starting to do that in round 9. Having a terrific round 9.
Booth's telling him, come on, come on.
Calling him in, but again, that's a little bit of the sparring partner mentality in Booth. You know, he's got 9 losses. He's tough. He hangs in there. He's hanging on the ropes and saying, come on, at work. But it's up to you to, again, separate yourself. And Juarez has done a terrific job of that this round. Again, notice Juarez changing heights there.
Yep.
Stepping back. You see, these are the little subtle things he needs to do consistently. Not just in this fight, even at a higher level.
Man, Booth is tough. He's durable. He's in good shape. Got buzzed early in the round. Now he's the man pushing the pressure coming forward. It's almost like that psychological tactic actually worked for Booth. It kind of backed Juarez up with his words rather than his punch.
Good combination, one after another from Omar Juarez.
Now it's Juarez getting over 2 physical combinations. Usually at this range, it was Booth who puts together 2 physical combinations when he finally finds you. But Juarez doing a better job of outworking Booth here at close range. And maybe in round 9, maybe those body shots of Juarez have taken their toll as well on Booth. Remember those left hooks to the body? Now it doesn't seem like Booth is the freshest guy in there, even at that close range where he was the one putting up the numbers earlier.
Honestly, champ, I think it's those left hooks to the head. He's not taking those well anymore at all. Very off balance whenever he gets hit with the left hook.
And early in the round, he did have a little Mr. Bojangles with his legs.
Yeah.
He took one of those shots.
I like that. Oh, but look at his hands at the end of the round.
He must have heard me.
From Mr. St. Pete.
last round of the fight for either man tonight. It was from Omar Juarez. I mentioned the clear, concise, technical advice from the corner. He followed up on that. The left hooks, the right hands actually had Booth buzzed earlier in the round. Booth hung tough. He was calling Juarez in, but did not get much work done with the gloves.
10th and final round. 3 minutes remain. Black and gold trunks, Clarence Booth. Omar Juarez, black with the red and gold.
It's gonna be a tough fight to score, guys. I mean, you gotta these rounds of, like you said, Champ, earlier, there haven't been any rounds that were really clear cut except for the last, in terms of guys separating and controlling and dominating.
Clarence off to a fast start here in the 10th.
And that's the frustrating thing that's going to happen to Juarez if he doesn't get this decision.
Both guys are going to think they won.
Yeah, and that's going to be because when there's moments where Juarez decides he's better, he's better.
Yes.
You know, Booth is pretty much, all intents and purposes, he's an effort guy. But Juarez, when he decides I'm going to show a little bit of extra something, he shows it. But it's just his decision has been not to show it all the time.
He does stuff like this. He stands in front of Booth and lets him work. Booth finds openings around the gloves, is physical, pushes you back, gets you off balance, hits you.
Booth against Touchover, a 15-2 fighter. Myquan Williams, 18-0-1. Delgado, 16-0. Feliciano, 16-0. Kelvin Davis, 10-0. He would love for Omar Juarez to leave tonight, 14-3. Approaching the midway point of the 10th and final round.
Booth is talking to him. I don't know if he's motivating himself or talking down to Juarez, but a lot of effort this round. Good right hand from Booth.
Good. He's getting the better of these exchanges, guys.
Yeah, he's having a good round.
As effective as Juarez was in the 9th, Booth is matching it here in the 10th.
Yeah, man, Booth is landing some big shots this round. Not having the same effect that Juarez had last round, but still getting the work done.
And both guys landing in those exchanges, just Booth is landing more.
Well, it's a more consistent effort.
Yeah. This is how another good right hand there from Booth.
Sharp right
Just as I was saying last round, he didn't look so fresh anymore. He comes out and looks fresh.
Nah, I told you, the conditioning of this kid is really impressive. Good body shot from Juarez.
Yeah, that's what he's got to do. Go back to the body, try to slow him down, and now that's set up the big head shot.
Upstairs.
Yep.
Final minute of the fight.
That's one thing. When you got a guy who's really durable, has got a good chin, hit him in his body first, then hit him on the chin. See how he takes it after that.
He didn't take it well.
That is huge.
Big knockdown. That was one of those equilibrium shots on the ear, side of the head.
And Champ, you said it. He kind of hurt him to the body first, that fella, or at least got his attention to the body. And then landed some good headshots after that in the follow-up.
And he goes down for a second time.
Same shot.
And remember, Goldie, you said he hasn't been 10 rounds in a while, right?
Absolutely.
We're in round 10.
Yep. Has not been 10 rounds.
He's looking woozy.
Hey, turn around!
Has not been stopped in over 7 years.
Short time, short time.
Turn around, turn around!
Ref asking him to walk.
But 2 knockdowns here in the 10th. Makes the mathematics much easier.
And he's fighting back hard.
They go the distance.
That 10-7 round seals it probably for Juarez. If there was enough separation, there is now.
We spoke over and over again about separation. And there it was. Boom, right, chopping right hook, and that was the top.
And that was a few seconds after that body shot had landed, though.
So he had landed a body shot with the left hand that seemed to affect Booth, and then he came back with a left hook upstairs, and that wobbled a little bit, and then it was that chopping right hand. And I mentioned earlier, I don't care how durable you are, you get hit with right hands that often, it's going to add up eventually, and it added up toward the end of that round.
Just the end of that fight, Champ, even in round 9, he kind of was woozy with a left hook to the temple. So, you know, the shots finally caught up. And remember, this is a guy who's been in a lot of fights. He's spars all the top guys. You know, he's a well-known sparring partner. Booth, you know, tough, durable guy. You know, one solid backbone type of fighter. You know what I mean? Where he'll get in there with anybody and put in work. But of course, that ends up catching up to you, man. And you know, he hasn't been 10 rounds in a while. You know, it's the 9th and 10th round of the rounds where he got hurt tonight.
Not so much short notice. He is always in the gym. We know that, Chris. But
but it's different. It's different preparing for a 10-rounder properly. But he gave an excellent effort. Listen, he was having a great round in round 10. Yeah. Excellent round. One of the best rounds he had all night. You got it's hard not to feel bad for the kid, but
gotta tip your hat to him though. He always shows up to fight, and that's why we have him here on ProBox. See good action here early in the fight.
This was an excellent back and forth fight. Both guys, man, were in it doing everything they can to win. Very, very different styles. I talked about the mesh, about it. One guy being a workman, one guy being more of a technician. But man, these guys put on a fantastic show.
A lot of close telephone booth style fighting as well. You know, a lot of times both guys decided they were going to fight at close range. You know,
a lot of it came down to who was going to assert their will and make the other man fight their fight.
Yeah. And the power finally came into play late in the fight. It was not until rounds 9 and 10 that you really started to see a little bit of a power surge from Juarez, and again, that might have been from the fatigue of Booth. There's that double right hand that backed Booth to the ropes that we're talking about, that he backed up straight.
Round 9 was really good for Mr. St. Pete.
No, round 9 was really good for Juarez. That's the one that got hurt. The beginning of round 10 was really good for St. Pete.
Yes.
Right. He was having an excellent round, and then boom, this chopping right hand hits him on the side of the ear.
His shoulder too.
Yeah, well, that's the equilibrium. He thought he was going to be able to get up. But fighting to the end, really, really impressive, even though his legs were betraying him.
We talked about Hot Rod making a statement late in his fight. Juarez 2 knockdowns, scored in the 10th with the official decision, Jim Sorensen.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for these warriors. What a contest, ladies and gentlemen. We go to the judges' scorecards after 10 rounds. Judge Braden Jackson and Tito Wilgo both score the fight 98-90. Judge Rodolfo Aguilar scores the bout 99-89 for your winner by unanimous decision, El Relampago Juarez.
Lightning strikes tonight as he fights for the first time on ProBox TV and ups his record to 15-2.
I thought it was a little closer, but nonetheless, again, those rounds up in the air, rounds, it seems like the judges tonight were giving them all to Juarez, but he did separate himself late in the fight. Either way, I think the right guy won the fight. And strong close from Omar Juarez.
Yeah, the judges obviously like the clean, classy work from Juarez. He was showing his technical superiority. Like we said, though, he was just allowing Booth to work a lot more than necessary.
Judges like the A-side. Judges like the A-side.
They don't like the local guy, apparently. They like the A-side and the local guy.
Yeah, like New York guys. New York judges like that.
Yeah.
They like the kid tonight from Brownsville, Texas. Our main event, Joseph Adorno and Nicolas Walters. Up next, Jesus Saracho and Starling Castillo. Scheduled for 10 rounds. We have seen Jesus Saracho here on ProBox TV before, and he has looked great. And he is with Beatrice.
Jesús Saracho, uno de los boxeadores del evento coestelar de esta noche, de Guanajuato, México. Vienes con tu estilo típico mexicano. Muchos boxeadores han pasado su campamento de entrenamiento para Las Vegas, como tú, por ejemplo. ¿Por qué Las Vegas?
Creo que experimentar con diferentes estilos en el boxeo es algo que te diera experiencia, y es lo que hicimos en Las Vegas. Coger un poquito más de experiencia con otros diferentes estilos aparte del mexicano.
I train in Vegas. I changed my training camp to Vegas because I wanted to extend and expand my technique as a fighter and expand my experience in the boxing world. Otra cosa, ¿qué significaría para ti una victoria hoy? Porque la división de pesos súper ligero tiene muy buenos contrincantes y muy buenos boxeadores. ¿Qué significa una victoria y con quién te gustaría pelear?
Una victoria sobre Starling Castillo creo que me elevaría un escalón más a buscar esa oportunidad de campeonato del mundo, y realmente no pienso en un nombre. Esta noche está concentrado en Starling Castillo solamente.
Right now, I'm just focusing in winning this fight against Sterling, and I'm really looking forward to grow in the boxing world and grow in my career. Te deseo mucha suerte, muchísimas gracias por acompañarnos. Vayan a seguirnos en ProBox TV en español.
Beatrice, thank you very much. Jesus Saracho, 13 victories, 11 of those by knockout. He looks to win again here on ProBox TV against 18-1-1 Starling Castillo. That super lightweight matchup is coming up next. We mentioned that Omar Juarez wants a fight against Rolly Romero. He'll be watching very closely Saturday night from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, the co-main event to the fight between Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu is Rolly and Pitbull for the WBA Super Lightweight Championship. Ramirez and Cruz Saturday night from T-Mobile Arena.
This is still a really good fight. You got two guys with a very interesting clash of styles, the wild man mentality of Rolando Romero, and you got Isaac Cruz. He's a come forward kind of guy. His nickname is Pitbull. He likes to come forward. He likes to latch onto you and put his head in your chest and dig with both hands. Now we're looking at clips of him fighting with Tank Davis where he was on par and actually was able to go the distance, which is a tough thing to do against a guy like Tank, who's a sharpshooter and a power puncher. This is Isaac Cruz's first fight at 140. He's fighting for a world title, which is a little curious to me. You know, first time he's fighting at 140, he's getting a world title shot against the weakest 140-pounder in the division, or 140-pound champion in the division in Rolando Romero. And Rolly is an enigma, man. Some days he's super sharp and an absolute monster, and then other days he's kind of a dud. So I'm curious to see which kind of Romero shows up. Isaac Cruz, what you see is what you get. He's going to come forward and bang. I think Rolando Romero Rollies doesn't get enough credit for his actual boxing ability and his explosiveness and his ability to be explosive and jab and move. But I don't know if he can keep that up. This is a 12-round contest. World title fights fought over 12 rounds. Discipline, I think, can play a big part in this fight. You know, and in that case, I think Cruz is a guy that if we see the 6th round, it's more of a Cruz fight than a Rolly fight.
We know one thing, guys. It is a great weekend with spectacular matchups in the boxing world, and tonight we have two more on our Wednesday night fights, brought to you by our title sponsor, sportsbetting.ag. Our co-main event, as we mentioned earlier, Jesus Saracho, 13-1-1 against the Dominican Republic's Starling Castillo. Should be a spectacular matchup, which is why it is in our co-main event slot. Here are the odds. -135 for Junior Jesus Saracho, plus 105 for the 28-year-old Starling Castillo. Our tail of the tape for this super lightweight matchup, scheduled for 10 rounds. The 22-year-old from Mexico, 6 years younger than Castillo, who is also 2 inches taller and will have a pretty significant reach advantage. With the official introductions of this, our co-main event, here on your boxing channel, ProBox TV, here is Jim Sorensen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is now time for our co-main event of the evening. This bout is scheduled for 10 rounds in the super lightweight division. For two punchers with a combined 24 KOs and only 2 losses between them. Your judges, Tito Wilgo, Rodolfo Aguilar, and Joe Ware. And the third man in the ring is your referee, Christopher Young. Introducing to you first, he is fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing the white trunks, and he weighed in at 140 pounds even. His record, 18 wins, just 1 loss, 1 draw, with 13 wins by knockout. From Quinasuaneo, Dominican Republic, please welcome Starling Castillo. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black and silver trunks. He weighed in at 140.2 pounds. His record, 13 wins, just 1 loss and 1 draw, with 11 wins by knockout. De Irapuato, Mexico, bienvenidos a Jesus Saracho.
Jimmy, everything gonna be good. Everything gonna be good. Jimmy, know what time it is. We're gonna fight hard, fight clean, touch him up.
Jesus Saracho and Starling Castillo. Last time we saw Saracho was January of last year when he won the WBO Latino Super Lightweight title, defeating the Rain Man, Cesar Francis.
Blue corner, you ready? Red corner, you ready? Bam!
Here we go. It's time to fight. Saracho in the black and silver trunks, Castillo in the white. It is southpaw against southpaw.
And we've had Saracho on here. He's a capable guy.
Oh.
Skill guy. Oh, what a nice hook, right?
Yeah, slip hook.
And he can punch a little bit if I remember correctly,
yeah,
man.
Physically strong.
Be a strong guy.
And when he fought Cesar Francis, another guy very, very tall for the weight class. Again, he's fighting a tall fighter, but this time it's a southpaw in Castillo. I've been excited for this fight all week. I mean, we have a lot of competitive fights here on our air, but this is as close to a 50-50 matchup as you can make.
The only loss on the record of Saracho back in 2022 against then 14-0 Deontay Brown, a fight that many thought Saracho was ahead on the scorecards until he was finished in round number 9. And he has really been in tough recently. Saracho taking on a 10-0, 12-0, 12-0, and tonight 18-1-1 opponent.
Yeah, any blemishes on the records of these guys have been against undefeated guys, and they themselves also have wins against undefeated guys. So again, like I like to mention on ProBox TV, good body shot there by Starling. I like to mention. Good left hand there. But what I typically like to mention, the records we have here on ProBox TV are not just good records. They're records that are battle tested as well, and that's why the matchups tend to be so good. It's not we're not just giving you shiny records. We're giving you shiny records that when you look deeper under the microscope, they have been battle tested and earned.
Yeah, you got to look past the numbers with our guys.
For Castillo, his lone setback in January of 2022 to then 10-0 Otar Aronosian.
We know him.
We know him very well. Man, is he a lot of fun.
Yeah, man, is he a good fighter, too. I mean,
yes.
He is world class. Ooh, good shot there from Starling.
Yeah, Starling has got to shorten up those shots a little bit. A little wide on the inside, but he's still putting Saracho into some troublesome moments.
Castillo's got some serious power. That left hand is very, very dangerous. I've seen him put some guys out in past fights.
And Chris, since the setback against Aronosian at 135, this is now his 4th straight fight at 140.
Keep him up,
Starling Castillo.
I think we got a cut on the eyebrow of Saracho.
I wonder if that was a butt or a punch.
It looked like a punch, honestly.
See, that's a low blow.
Was that low? You didn't look that low
on the leg. Was it on the leg? Either way, Saracho is cut, champ, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Ready? Okay. Do not retaliate. Keep the punches up. Time in.
Play angle.
Yeah, that's on the hip.
Nice on the hip area too.
Those punches suck.
Yeah.
Those hip shots.
Saracho just came back and threw one just a little bit above the hip.
Yeah. Ooh,
little message right back to fellow southpaw Castillo.
That was a beautiful feint from Saracho. Changed levels as he was going to go to throw a left hand to the body and then rolled under the sweeping shot of Castillo.
10 seconds. Let's put a bell. 10 seconds.
Bob Santos training Starling Castillo.
Está muy bien todo, hasta ahorita todos estamos trabajando muy bien. Nada más no hay que dejarlo crecer, lo que quedamos y golpear abajo desde el principio. Porque hay que minar el aire. ¿Okay?
The corner of Saracho. As we get set for round number 2, our beautiful ring card girls on a Wednesday night here on ProBox TV.
I can see that.
So for Castillo, his full name is Sparkinson Starling Wilson Almonte Castillo.
Wow. Starling.
Yeah.
AKA Starling.
Yeah, there. It's just
a lot of cool names.
There's a lot of names. It is a lot of cool names.
A lot of cool names.
Yep. If you're going to use them all. Be effective.
It's like a Brazilian soccer player. That's why they usually go by one name. They can pick out of 10.
Could be a Brazilian soccer player, Brazilian handball player, or just a Brazilian mixed martial artist, or probably just a Brazilian.
True. Ooh, nice combination from Saracho. Saracho's very good at fighting taller opponents. He does a good job of punching his way in, fires combinations, and lowers his level to get out.
Yeah, the only thing is, when you're fighting a taller guy, it's difficult to fight in and out. It is in and out. A lot of guys like to fight in and out, but it's hard to get back out against a taller guy because he can reach you. So you've got to start to use a different technique, either off the head movement or even off some of the blocks and shooting. Because fighting a guy in and out, a tall guy who knows how to stay at range, who knows how to control range, who knows how to make you pay at range, and an in and out style, you risk getting caught on the way out a lot.
But that's what I like about Saracho is when he does exit, he exits low. He lowers his level as he gets out. A lot of guys tend to get tall as they move out, and that's where you're in danger against a taller opponent.
Very important. Very important.
He's got to stay in low.
And even a step around the side. He's got to mix that up.
Haven't really seen that in his bag yet. I mean, being able to step around. Not saying he doesn't have it, but haven't seen that yet.
Always time to work on it, I guess, right?
Right.
Castillo, if you just simply put line 1 on a scouting report, it's tall southpaw with good power, and we've seen the torque from some of those punches already here early in this fight.
Yeah, those level changes, they kind of act like feints as well from Saracho. So you see Starling tends to react to them every single time.
I really like that move that Saracho's doing. He came out right in the first round and did. He slips on the inside of Castillo's jab and then comes with his own right hook. Reminds me of Felix Trinidad when he dropped Fernando Vargas.
Yeah.
Slipped on the inside of the jab, came back with that killer left hook.
You see Starling hit him on the inside and backed him off there.
Ooh, good body shot. That hurt him. There's that torque I was talking about before from Castillo.
Yeah, you can see the power difference between these two. Castillo can really punch. Oh!
Good exchanges. Both guys throwing some nice shots. Short, compact. Really getting good turn on them. Good torque on those shots.
Yeah, Saracho needs to be either all the way in or all the way out, because this middle range, he's getting chewed up. Too much power from Castillo.
Talked about that fight with Deontay Brown for Saracho. He suffered a broken orbital in that 9th round, 9th of 10. So he was stopped in the only loss of his professional career.
We know a thing or two about those, right, Champ?
Yeah. I remembered something about that stoppage. He had told us in his last fighter interview that there was a reason that fight got stopped. He was winning, he said.
To the body.
That was again, right on the belt line there.
So that's a similar shot that he was.
And that was a good hook there from Starling Castillo there, and that one really got the attention of Saracho. Good exchange in that last round.
And that was the shot that Saracho's been looking for. He wants to trade those lead hands, but he got beat there because it was hook first uppercut.
Our co-main event continues. Round number 3, Starling Castillo from the Dominican Republic in the white trunks. Born in Mexico, now living in the States and in Mexico with his training camp recently. Jesus Saracho in the black and silver trunks. Last fight was against Tarek Zana, and it was a draw, but Saracho did miss weight in that last fight, so he lost 20% of his purse. He wants to make back that money and then some here tonight.
Starling Castillo is not going to let you negotiate the distance that easily. You see, he knows how to step back out. He knows how to use that jab. And then he also can punch, so you can't just come in recklessly either. So Saracho has to do a lot of thinking, and then you see that rhythmic style he's trying to use, especially that level change to try to fake Starling, or at least freeze him so that he can close the gap. Good combination there.
That was nice. Up, around, and then back down to the body.
Fifth fight here in the United States for Saracho. First since June of last year, trying to get that visa all taken care of, and he's back right here on ProBox TV.
Castillo's dangerous, man. He throws that left hand like a Dominican pitcher. He drops that thing hard.
Good technical fight between two very good fighters.
Yeah, classy stuff here. Saracho's feinting quite well. He's doing a good job changing levels, feinting.
Yeah, he's trying to negotiate that distance. It's not easy.
No.
Castillo knows how to, take those half steps out, use that lead hand.
And he stays defensively secured even when he does pop back. A lot of times taller guys, they'll pull back, they'll get tall, they'll leave their hands out. He pops back and he keeps his hands tight, ready to counter. Oh, good left hand again. Saracho come back with a good body shot.
I said there, Castillo using the in-and-out style himself,
Paulie, Chris set me up beautifully. Dominican pitcher Pedro Borbon. Part of the Big Red Machine.
You're going Pedro Martinez, but you go a little further back, Goldie.
I'm from Cincinnati, And it was the Big Red Machine. Oh, that one just snapped the head of Castillo back.
Saracho just did a lot of really tricky, fancy work on that inside work there when he had Castillo against the ropes. Really nice job sneaking in nasty little body shots and come up with that uppercut.
And because Castillo landed a shot that got Saracho off him, but no follow-up. And that's what Castillo has to start doing here in this fight. He lands a good shot. He's going to have to start following her up a little bit because Saracho's not just going to hand you these opportunities.
Champ, I think he's hurt to the body. Castillo got hit with some tricky body shots. You saw him take a deep breath and push down on his trunks. A lot of times that's an indicator.
Yeah, trying to get that breathing space from your cup.
Yeah, that's an indicator that a guy got touched to the body.
Got to be familiar with the equipment to know.
Wednesday night fights. On the next Wednesday night fights, April 10th, don't miss the main event. Angelo Leo returns to ProBox to take on Eduardo Baez of Mexico. Live from the ProBox Event Center in Plant City. Get your tickets at ProBoxTV.com or take your chances at the door. Wednesday night fights.
Both men have scored with power, Paulie.
And that was that double hook where the body shot started with the body shot, and then here a little short uppercut on the inside. You see Starling trying to use that double hook, not getting it in there clean. With some good exchanges between both guys. And you can see the quality of the punches, the way they throw their shots. Very, very good technique.
Chris, my dad watching from up above would have been very proud of my Pedro Borbon there.
Oh, nice.
Used to watch P-Bros at Crosley Field back in the day.
I'm sure you got the wink from above.
Yes, indeed. I felt it. Love and miss you, Dad. Continue with Saracho and Castillo. Round number 4. Our co-main event is scheduled for 10 rounds.
Reaching body shot there by Starling Castillo. You see that?
Shot.
Both men seem to have a target on their belt line because the guys going to the center are just hitting the top of the protection on the shorts.
That was a very competitive fight. Round 2, we saw Castillo get to Saracho, and then last round, we saw Saracho get to Castillo. Let's see who can separate themselves and take control of this fight.
Yeah, still a lot of fight here, and both guys still have not had the winning mentality beaten out of them. Both guys still confident they can win the fight, and you can tell in their body language each and every round.
Yeah, this is chess, not checkers between these two.
Both men have only suffered one setback as professionals.
Threw that overhand left like a pitcher, that's for sure.
That left hand of his is very dangerous. I've seen him lay some people out in the fight tapes in the past.
Good speed combination, some of it on the arms, but nonetheless, something good to show for the judges. There it is again, ending with a good body shot and slips away from the counter hook from Castillo.
And even though, like you said, Champ, some of those on the arms, a lot of times I feel like Saracho has throwaway punches that he pins your arms and then to land other shots.
Yeah, and also when you go to the body, I mean, even when the kick lands on the arm, sometimes a piece of it gets behind the elbow, That's why punch stats are difficult to go by, man, because even that little piece of your body, they does take it.
Or how about that? How about when the guy hits you hard enough that he bangs your elbow into your ribs?
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah, those are fun. I just remember getting bruises on my hip bones from my elbows digging into my own body. Oh, good slip again.
Good shot there from...
And the step around. Very nice move there from Saracho.
Good double hook there by Castillo as he backs off Saracho after throwing it. I don't know if he got Saracho's attention.
Pretty elusive after that.
Very impressive hand control from Saracho. Very difficult to see some of the things these guys are doing because it is very high level. Saracho did a really nice job grabbing the wrist and twisting and turning so he can get back to the center of the ring.
Saracho, 4 of his last 5 opponents were unbeaten. Combined record of 48-0. Chopping punches here from Castillo in close range. Uppercut up the middle from Saracho.
Castillo is surprisingly good on the inside for a guy who's so tall and with such a long reach.
He's a guy with that pedigree, though, man, right? Was he an Olympian in the amateurs?
Yep.
Nice.
You know, and you see how tall he is and how tall he fights. I'm trying to picture in my mind that fight again against Otar Aronosian.
Otar's so good at closing the distance, though. He moves his head really well and it cuts around.
And then he makes you absolutely miserable once he does, you know? He doesn't stop working.
And he doesn't have any fun at all, does he?
Oh, good hook at the bell.
What a way to finish that round.
And in the very competitive rounds, those kind of exclamation points at the end of rounds are very, very important to get the eyes of the judges. Castillo nodded to Saracho, letting him know that I didn't feel it, but still a good scoring shots that will stay on the head, on the minds of the judges as they saw it. Take a look at it, champ.
Really good move from Saracho. He does a roll, hook. Oh, it actually landed on the glove, but it was still, we talked about punching through gloves. There's going to be flack on a punch like that. Boom.
And some of it did land because, you know what? The head of Castillo snaps.
Absolutely. He felt that shot for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got the glove just up in time. But listen, that's a testament to Castillo for getting his hand position back.
And he got his hand position back just enough to cover his chin.
Right.
So he took the shot, but he took it up on the cheek because the part of his chin that would have maybe done more damage, he got the glove up there to force the shot a little higher.
And then Saracho also with that rolling, that adds power to the punch. He gets a lot of momentum swinging that. Yep.
Co-main event continues. Our main event still to come. Joseph Adorno and Nicolas Walters, the former world champion. Adorno 18-3-2, 28-1-1 for Walters. Our co-main event, Saracho in the black and silver, Castillo in the white trunks. Tough weight cut for Saracho, but so far his endurance looks okay. Triple jab from Castillo.
You see the little chest fencing game with the lead hands as well. You know, everything is a little position battle, be it on the inside or on the outside for these guys.
Mike Goldberg with my powerful partners, the Magic Man, the former 2-time world champion, Paulie Malignaggi, former world champion, Chris Algieri. Big swing and a miss from Saracho.
And a lot of times the position battles are the fight within the fight.
Worthy of note, 11 of his 13 career wins for Saracho have been finishes, but he has not stopped anyone past round number 6. We are in round 5. Just a pawing jab for Castillo, trying to set up the left.
And notice this round, Castillo really keeping the distance, staying long.
Got about a 5-inch reach advantage, Chris, as we highlighted on the tail of the tape. And you see how when Castillo torques with that length, how powerful he can be.
And that lead hand, that's what Castillo's got to start getting back on, is staying busy with the jab, staying busy with the lead hand. He's got the reach advantage and the height advantage. You should keep Saracho busy, but Saracho sometimes hypnotizes him with that little head movement and rhythm, and it allows himself to get to close range.
But can he keep it up for 3 minutes of a round? Because Saracho is putting a lot of pressure. He's cutting off the ring quite well, and he's evading power shots of Castillo.
And when he gets inside, he puts those numbers together.
Big smile from Castillo.
See, like right here, Castillo, should you be using that lead hand to really, you know, keep Saracho occupied? For me, he's not consistent enough with that.
Bob Santos.
Oh, big left hand.
A trainer for Starling Castillo. He's had some success with Dominicans before. The southpaw Hector Luis Garcia helped to guide him and mentor him to the WBA Super Featherweight World Championship.
10 seconds.
We approach the halfway point, guys.
You know, they say that styles make fights. So does great matchmaking. And here at ProBox TV, we continue Wednesday, and we take a break, then another Wednesday, and then a break and another Wednesday. Chris, we continue to have the A and the other A side, and it's fun to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you mentioned those matchmakers, man. I always got to tip my hat to them because we get good fights like this. Nice competitive 50-50 fights.
Entertaining as well.
Entertaining as well.
Sometimes you get a 50-50 fight, it may not be entertaining, but for the most part, ProBox TV, we pick them well. And for anybody that's been tuning in religiously to the network, you guys know, well worth it to tune in every other Wednesday for Wednesday night fights here on ProBox TV.
We thank all of you watching ProBoxTV.com, our ProBox TV YouTube channel, and those of you joining us around the world, our friends watching at Rogers Sportsnet in Canada, getting ready for the NHL playoffs. Double jab, followed by the left for Castillo. They're not the only ones getting ready for the NHL playoffs.
I'm getting ready.
Yeah, I know you are, Paulie. That was a T. That was a little sauce to you.
My Rangers had a team to make a run for it.
Yep.
Ooh, good stab jab.
Yeah. You actually see the stomach sucking in of Castillo there. But you see off the rhythm, you see the rhythm, level changes, and off of that rhythm, what makes Saracho effective, good left hand there by Castillo. What makes Saracho effective is off of these little changes in subtle rhythm, he punches off of them. So it's, again, he disguises it with the rhythm.
Yeah, he doesn't waste the battle for real estate. A lot of times you see guys, like you mentioned earlier, you guys are working for position, and then they work so hard to get there, they don't do anything with it. Yeah. Saracho does.
Good battle, close quarters. Round number 6.
Really good fundamentals from both these guys. Really good hand position, good defense, good offense, setting things up, head movement.
But if I think it's going to be one thing that's going to cost Castillo if he doesn't start getting with it, it's right here. It's at this distance. He doesn't have enough control to fight. He's taller. He should be taking more control. He should be dictating more with the lead hand. He should be more solid and more consistent with those jabs. Good little hook there on the inside.
For Saracho.
But I just feel like the more consistent work gets done by Saracho a lot of times, and see Castillo here waits.
Yeah, when you got a stick like that, man, a long reach, long hand, long jab, you got to use it.
To the body goes Saracho with that change of levels again. Paulie, it's only been 30 years, since your Rangers hoisted Lord Stanley's Cup.
And 54 years before that. We're not spoiled in New York.
Yeah,
at least not as Ranger fans.
Try being a Sharks fan.
I don't think we're spoiled with any sports in New York.
Knicks actually haven't won in my lifetime, my whole life. Last time the Knicks won, there wasn't even a three-point line in the NBA.
Hey, and the Canucks are good this year too, which is who the Rangers beat.
Yeah, but Canucks is funny. They've lost 2 finals to New York teams, right? Yep. They lost to the Islanders in the early 80s as well.
That is correct.
Oh, good left hand there by.
This has been a really good round for Saracho with some nice eye-catching shots from Castillo.
Another good left hand, and Starling's trying to at least close the round strong.
Yeah.
Hay que aguantar el modo. Mijo, llévatelo a las cuerdas y con tu mano izquierda, aquí, él trae la mano aquí abajo ya, ¿ok? Trae la mano aquí abajo, voltéatela por arriba y la otra, y el otro aquí abajo. Pero hazlo, por favor.
The corner of Jesus Saracho. Starling Castillo.
Ángulo. Centro.
Co-main event continues. Still to come, Joseph Adorno, Nicolas Walters for the WBA Continental Americas Lightweight title. Saracho in the black and silver, Castillo in the white, round 7.
Coach Bob Santos in the corner of Castillo asking him for angles and to control the center of the ring. 2 things I haven't seen him do at all tonight.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. He's got an imposing height. And Saracho knows it, too. That's why Saracho's been very rhythmic in trying to close the gap. He's not been trying to close the gap in any reckless fashion that will walk him into Starling Castillo's power. But Castillo also hasn't made the adjustment back.
Saracho's done a good job of muting some of that power. It's very vaunted. You could see how powerful he was early on. But it hasn't really been a factor in these most recent rounds.
Both men we've talked about with only one setback is professionals. Saracho's was due to a broken orbital in a fight in which he was ahead on the scorecards against fellow unbeaten Deontay Brown, as Saracho tries to close the gap again here in round 7.
And you see, good left hand there from Starling, partially blocked. But again, he shows himself to be dangerous when. But look, no follow-ups, nothing. That's been sort of my critique of Castillo more than anything else. Is no follow-ups when he lands a pretty good shot. You see Saracho, when he gets in there, he looks to land, and then if he does land, he looks to follow it up, sort of take control and show the judges he takes the control.
You know, I've noticed something from Castillo the last couple of rounds. Look at his mouth. It's been open all round. I'm wondering about the conditioning of. Goldie had mentioned that Saracho had trouble making the weight, but he's looking to be the guy who's got a better gas tank at the moment.
Yeah, and also the rhythm Saracho is in burns more energy.
Yes, absolutely. He's working much harder.
You know, Castillo is actually in a more energy-conserving style, but kind of laying back on the outside, especially not even using the lead hand. I mean, it's conserving energy if you use the lead hand on the outside, let alone if you don't. While Saracho's consistently trying to change levels, change height, use that head movement, and trying to, also change gears as far as the speed at which he closes the gap at times.
Also got to keep in mind that Castillo is the puncher. Punchers generally conserve, wait, explode, sprint, rest.
Good point, champ. There's a good jab from Castillo, but no, again, look how long you have to wait for another one. Look how long you have to wait for another one.
Yep.
Look, just waiting. But now got to take control of the fight.
Third straight fight for both of these men, scheduled for 10 rounds. Saracho's battled the scale before, Chris, as you know. Had to go back, get that last bit of weight off before he made it at 140.2. But so far, his pace continues to be one
nice step
that
around.
is impressive.
That's the step around that Bob Santos is asking for. Finally saw it there.
Yep, the angle.
Ace.
We'll be busy on Wednesdays in April as well. April 10th, our main event, a 10-round featherweight matchup. 23-1, Angelo Leo. Coming off his finish of Mike Plania by that vicious body shot. Looks for his third straight win here on ProBox TV as he fights Eduardo Fantastico Baez, plus Jacob Gomez and Dominic Valle. That is 2 weeks from tonight on your boxing channel. Mike Goldberg, Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri. Our co-main event, a very close one thus far. Round number 8. Black and silver for Saracho, white for Castillo.
Castillo did a really good thing to open this round. He countered immediately over the jab of Saracho with a good left hand, then came back with his jabs.
But sometimes a bit too lackadaisical. See on the outside here, especially now we're in round 8. You got 3 rounds left. You know, it's basically an amateur fight. You know, you gotta maybe go for it. You see Saracho still trying to go for it. He's cutting off the ring here, trying to close that gap, working. Castillo a little bit too lackadaisical for me. And then it may cost him in this fight unless something changes. There still is time, though. 3 rounds can be a long time in a competitive fight.
Saracho only had 161 amateur fights back at home in Mexico.
That's it?
That's it. 150 wins.
Impressive. Especially in Mexico, a lot of those guys turn pro early.
But you can see he's a well-schooled fighter. You know, he does a lot of. He's got a base nice shot there.
Good left hand.
not only the basics there, but he also, you know, a lot of the subtle little skills that you can tell good fighters. And look, catch and shoot attempt there on the body shot by Castillo comes up short, but again,
hard to
he's
do
thinking.
against a long guy.
Yeah, he's thinking though.
And that's one thing about Castillo, you know, as a long guy, he doesn't overcommit. He doesn't fall forward over his front foot. He keeps his length well. So that catch and shoot is going to be a really difficult shot to land on him.
So there's an uppercut by Castillo. Let's see the follow-up. Looks for the left hand.
Good
and
shot.
He's getting out.
Just clipped him over the top. Little check hook to start that one. No follow-up by Castillo. 1-1-2. 1:10 left in round number 8.
See what he did? He lands left hand there. He takes a walk and pulls up his pants. It's just, it's frustrating because you can see so much more potential in Castillo if he would just kind of put it together. But Saracho does put it together. And again, he's stalking.
Saracho finding ways to get inside.
You can always, Saracho's always thinking too. He's always setting things up. He sets things up with his eyes. He does nice eye feints. He'll look down to throw the shot upstairs.
And he just turned away from that one.
Yeah,
just
beautiful.
Beautifully, right, Chris?
Beautiful
Right
slide.
on cue as you're talking about.
You know, he's always thinking in there.
That's a left hand to the body there from Castillo.
Oh.
Left counter left hand. You see right here, you should be following that up. But instead he's waiting.
Yeah, but you see big breaths. Big breaths in. It seems more and more like Castillo's holding on.
Yeah, and the conditioning could be a difference here, guys, especially as we go late in the fight.
Yeah.
Adorno and Walters coming up next. Jaime Marino in the corner of Saracho tonight. He will be in the corner of Nicolas Walters in our main event of the evening. Emiliano moved to 9-0 here on ProBox TV back on February 16th.
No sé si me la quebró o no, pero la siento chueca.
No, te ves bien, no pasa nada.
Saracho.
Primero pica. Y primero pica, ok, un poco ganchos, pero primero pica. Mira el número va. Sí, baby.
Yep, you're the best, baby.
Todo foca, pero vivo.
Claro, estamos vivos.
Pero vivo.
Arturo's the lead for Saracho. Santos, of course, the lead for Castillo. 9th round, scheduled for 10. Saracho and Castillo. If conditioning has become a factor, let's see what happens in these last 6 minutes. A tough cut hasn't seemed to affect the stamina of Jesus Saracho.
Or his chin.
Yeah, but when you're as tall as Castillo, I think every cut is tough, man. He's big. He's a big guy.
Yeah, a lot of times those tall guys, man, they kill themselves to make the weight. Their legs suffer, their chins suffer. But Castillo doing a good job staying long. Oh, good left hand over the top.
And Paulie, he's 28. A lot of times you have the guys that say, all right, 22, 23, 24, I can make it happen. And as they age, it gets tougher, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Your body starts to betray you more and more.
And he did move from 35 to 140 after the fight against Otar Aronosian.
Yeah, probably that was needed for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, hard to see him.
See Saracho getting caught now, stepping back. He might be a little bit fatigued himself. Instead of bending his knees, getting under these shots, he's starting to step straight back. And against a taller guy, like I mentioned earlier in the fight, it's a little bit more difficult to be in and out fighting that style against a guy who's taller as he reaches you. Saw him take at least 2 partial left hands this round so far when he's stepping back. But now he comes forward. Good body shots, guys.
Now that you've mentioned it, Paulie, I notice every time Castillo fixes his trunks.
Yeah. Well, Jim mentioned it earlier. Chris did when he felt like Castillo felt a body shot earlier in the fight, and kind of made some space with his trunks. Ever since then, I think he's trying to take deep breaths at times when he adjusts his trunks. So, Saracho, nose bleeding now, coming forward. He's trying to put some shots together.
This is where Saracho needs to work. He needs to let those hands go.
Final minute of round number 9.
You see a little ebb in the effort from Saracho this past round and a half. So maybe that conditioning is starting to play a factor here. Also falling for feints. That'll tire you out too.
Yeah, because, you know, you can't react as much. He's not really as reactive. Like I said, he stepped back a couple times and got caught on the end of the punches a couple times this round.
Saracho to the body, up the middle, trying to put them together. Rolled under a moment ago beautifully.
Really good body work from Saracho this round. But here comes Castillo coming back.
You let it get away, though. See? Like the inconsistency of Castillo.
And there's so many opportunities for him to put that jab out.
Yep. Oh, that's been all night, man. Even now, right now. Literally, there it is.
And honestly, it's not a shot that Saracho has been able to counter well.
No, and it would actually allow him to conserve more energy if he uses it. There again, not using it, going in flight, and Saracho catches him cutting the ring off.
Great way to finish the round for Jesus Saracho, who on multiple occasions throughout this fight punishing the body of his Dominican opponent.
As consistent body work from Saracho in that round. Started the round with body shots, was landing in the middle here, sets them up nice.
Yeah, you saw that little feint with the lead hand. He stretched it out halfway through. He changed his mind halfway through, basically half a feint, half a punch, and then dropped with that, put some weight on that left hand to the body.
Vivo, uno round, uno round, último, vivo.
Santos telling Castillo vivo in the last round. Let's see.
Both corners.
I think it's an important round, but I think
both corners look nervous.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's been, you know, pretty competitive. I think Saracho may be a little bit ahead, but I think the last rounds could still come into some importance here, and we'll see how urgent both of these guys fight this last round.
10th and final round. Black and silver for 13-1-1 Jesus Saracho, 18-1-1 Starling Castillo in the white trunks.
Oh, good dig to the body from Saracho, both hands, and then you see Castillo push those trunks down, make some space.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Saracho was not getting in. He got hit with a couple of jabs, was not getting in. Castillo stops jabbing. Saracho enters and throws some good body shots. So Castillo goes back to the jab. What does he do? He backs off Saracho. Literally, if Castillo would just use his lead hand, he'd have made this fight much easier for himself. Instead, by not being consistent with it, he may have cost himself the fight. We'll see.
I mean, being that tall and long and having power, and look, you can make every fight.
And look, anytime he uses it, look how it offsets Saracho. Look how it offsets Saracho again. Saracho has to start again each and every time. But when it's not there, Saracho enters.
Yeah, Saracho jabbed. He was still 16 inches away.
Flipping that
there it is.
Lead hand out, triple jab, followed up by the left.
Looking for the counter left over the top now, but then he covers up and lets Saracho in the front door.
And Saracho turns away beautifully again, avoiding the big hook from Castillo.
Big swing and a miss there from Saracho. Good jab from the shorter man.
Yeah.
Past the midway point, 10th and final round.
Well, they say you can jab with a jabber, just don't hook with a hooker, right? So Saracho got nothing to lose. Trying to jab with the taller guy, especially if the taller guy just hasn't had a consistent enough jab. And here he goes again, no jab. There it is again, though. See, again, when he jabs, he gets Saracho offset again.
Good pressure from Jesus Saracho.
Good effort this round from Saracho, man. He's being very explosive here in the 10th.
Under a minute.
And this round is also a lesson for Castillo in terms of anytime he wants to use the jab, he can make his life easier. And he can watch this round. It might be a microcosm of the fight for him. Anytime he uses the jab, the moments are easy. Anytime he doesn't use the jab, Saracho enters and makes his life difficult.
I think regardless, this is not an easy round for Castillo. Saracho's looking very strong here in round 10. And he's the one fighting with urgency. Castillo not really looking to win the round.
And finish that last round, leaving an impression in the judges' minds. Final 20 seconds of this fight, our co-main event. Which southpaw will get their arm raised?
Oh,
they go the distance. Jesus Saracho and Starling Castillo. Last time Saracho was here on ProBox TV, he earned a 10-round unanimous decision victory over previously unbeaten Cesar Francis. All right, let's start in round number 1, Chris and Paulie.
Yeah, I mean, really good stuff from these guys. I mean, in the beginning, you could see the power of Castillo. He was doing a good job keeping his length, showing that he had the heavier hands on the inside. There we see a big right hook as they exchanged there. Castillo, definitely the heavy-handed of the more heavy-handed of the two. But Saracho, man, very, very classy stuff, showing high level whenever he had Castillo along the ropes. And more as the fight wore on, Castillo was abandoning that lead hand and letting Saracho work, letting him come in the front door. But throughout, back and forth action.
Yeah, I think through the first half of the fight, champ, it was, competitive. You still weren't sure who was going to really take control in the second half of the fight. But I felt like Saracho decided to take more control of the pace in the second half of the fight. And Castillo got almost too lackadaisical in the second half of the fight. Still had a couple of good moments, but the consistency started to really turn in the favor of Saracho in the second half of the fight.
Round 9. Body.
Yeah, 9 and 10 were good rounds from Saracho. He put on a very good effort, started with the body work, kept Castillo along the ropes quite a bit. Here you see him getting a lot of that work done while Castillo is up against those ropes.
And two things for me that frustrating for Castillo, not being consistent enough with the lead hand and also not following up when he did land good shots, just kind of like being very lax after landing a good shot instead of following it up with maybe some assault shots.
So they go the 10-round distance. Judges have rendered their decision. Let's find out who the winner is. Here is Jim Sorensen.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, let's hear it for these warriors. And after 10 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Ware scores this bout 98 to 92 in favor of Starling Castillo. Judge Tito Wilgo scores this bout 96 to 94 in favor of Jesus Saracho. And Judge Braden Jackson scores this bout 99 to 91 in favor of your new winner, Starling El Bully Castillo.
Split decision victory for Starling Castillo.
I don't know, maybe we watch a different fight.
Yeah.
I mean, one of those judges agreed with you, but
no, one had a 96-94
for Saracho.
For Saracho, which I even thought was mildly close, but I would have had more 97-93 for Saracho. That was wild. I'm very curious to see in the comments.
91, Paul.
I'm very curious to see in the comments how everybody at home had it.
I mean, Team Castillo looked very confident as soon as the fight ended. He put his hands up right away. The corner looked very positive.
I want to see what everybody at home.
Saracho's corner looked stunned.
And it's going to take a while for this stunner and the feeling in the gut of Jesus Saracho to go away.
I mean, I see some of the comments saying 99-1 is a wild, but I mean, is 8-2 that much different than 9-1?
Yeah.
I mean, the two judges that had what's his name winning, Starling Castillo, had it 8-2 and 9-1.
Yeah,
I think both were kind of crazy of scorecards to have it that wide.
So we get set for our main event of the evening. Joseph Blessed Hands Adorno and Nicolas Waters, Beatrice Calise with Adorno.
Y estamos con uno de los boxeadores del evento estelar de la noche en ProBox TV. Traemos una guerra entre Puerto Rico y Jamaica. Joseph Adorno. Joseph, estás enfrentando a un ex campeón mundial. ¿Qué significa esto para tu carrera?
Esto significa, esto es una de las peleas más difíciles para mí, ¿verdad? Es una pelea que es la más importante para mí, ya que estoy enfrentando a un ex campeón mundial como lo que es Nicolas Walter.
This is one of the most difficult, but one of the most important fights of my career because I'm fighting a former world champion like Nicolas Walter. Empezaste en tu carrera de boxeo a los 17 años, firmaste un contrato con Top Rank. ¿Qué te hizo empezar en este deporte tan complicado a tan temprana edad?
Firmé a temprana edad porque yo desde amateur tenía muchos knockouts y yo no era un boxeador así como para cualificar para unas Olimpiadas. So, mi estilo siempre era adaptado a profesional. So, a los 17 años firmamos profesional.
So at 17, I signed a contract with Top Rank because of my style was totally different. So that's how I started in the boxing career. La última pregunta. En caso, tienes una división que es muy buena, que tienes muy buenos prospectos. En caso de una victoria, ¿con quién te gustaría pelear próximamente?
En caso de una victoria me gustaría enfrentar el mandatorio, ¿verdad? El rey de la 135, que ahora mismo es Gervonta St. Davis. O si no, una pelea con Teofimo López me gustaría.
If I win this fight, I would like to fight against Gervonta Davis of Teofimo López. Muchísimas gracias por acompañarnos y muchísima suerte en el evento de hoy.
Gracias.
Stay tuned.
Beatriz, thank you very much. Of course, Mike Goldberg with my powerful partners, the Magic Man, the former two-time world champion, Paulie Malignaggi, former world champion, Chris Algieri. Chris, in the open, you talked about the Axeman, so now you get to talk about Joseph Adorno, because I like to try to keep both of you guys happy.
I appreciate that. Yeah, Joseph Adorno, very, very talented fighter. We said he's dropped a few close fights. Didn't necessarily live up to the expectations that a lot of people had for him. He's got an opportunity here on ProBox to go out there, get a win tonight against a former world champion, and put himself right back into the mix where he should have been, where people thought he was going to be, where he feels he belongs.
Born in Jersey, both of his parents from Puerto Rico. Nicolas Walters born in Jamaica, fighting out of Panama. His favorite fighter, Paulie, Juan Manuel Marquez, on our Spanish broadcast. He was amongst the best of the best for a while.
Oh, yeah, he was. And he was a scary guy. He wasn't just the Axeman. He was the boogeyman of the featherweight division. It's funny to see him in the lightweight division after a little bit of a layoff, but not surprising. He was a very big featherweight, so you figure he's going to take a little bit of a layoff, probably would come back to weight classes up, probably fits in better at this point in his career, at this point in his life, into the lightweight division. But after running off a couple of wins and smaller shows, he's here on ProBox TV looking to get back to the top, a place that he's familiar with. Will he be able to deal with a natural lightweight puncher? We'll find out tonight.
His only loss to Lomachenko. He will try to keep it that way as he fights here in the States for the first time since that fight with Lomachenko back in 2016. His opponent is Joseph Adorno. Well, you know what, Tim Bradley Jr., he has a lot to say all the time. And tonight's subject, once again for Tim, Saul Canelo Alvarez.
His notoriety, keep on building his resume, because obviously Canelo's not willing to face him. But I want to just speak one more thing on Canelo, man. I think Paulie had mentioned this, and it makes so much sense. And it was about the fact that, those guys back in the days, you got Chavez and guys, even you got my man Estrada right now. He's going to be facing Bam. It's something called Mexican pride. When you have someone calling your name, this is like growing up in the hood and somebody, new to the area, and tearing rods in the area. You supposed to be that guy, to hold it down. He's calling your name, and you don't show up and you don't do anything about it. When is Canelo going to answer that call? That's all I'm saying. When is he going to answer that call? Because it's his duty. Him being Hispanic, him being challenged by another Hispanic, he's supposed to answer that call no matter what. I don't care about the business. I don't care about anything else. If you have pride in yourself, if you believe in yourself, and you got another man doing the same thing you doing but calling your name, you got to stand up, man. When you going to stand up and actually take that fight and actually show the people, what they need to see and show and prove that, hey, I am a bad mama jama.
The iPhone did not exist when Juan Manuel Marquez was in his prime, but it didn't matter. Mobile phone, if somebody called Juan Manuel Marquez, he always answered the call.
And as a matter of fact, he answered so much that he was still pretty close to his prime, even when the iPhone did start coming out. That's how long his prime lasted.
Nonetheless, though, that's the point that Tim Bradley makes. And it's going to be interesting as time continues of what the thought and what the legacy will be for Alvarez, because, Chris, I think a lot of it's dependent on what he does or who he fights here in the latter part of his career.
Well, just to kind of piggyback off of what Tim was saying, we spoke to Manuel Marquez, and he said, listen, the Mexican fans are watching. Yeah. They know what's going on. Yeah. Like, they're going to start turning, and that's the issue here.
And that was what I was alluding to.
Yeah, I mean, if you care about your legacy, this is one of those situations where it's like, well, I gotta step up to the plate.
Yep. You know what? You would have more respect to step up and be knocked down than to not step up and just keep on walking against others. But we are set for our main event of the evening. Joseph Adorno and Nicolas Waters. Wednesday night fights here on your boxing channel, brought to you by sportsbetting.ag. Adorno is the favorite as the Axeman is back here to fight in the United States. Adorno 18-3-2, 15 finishes, 28 wins, 22 by knockout for Nicolas Waters. Our tale of the tape for this, our main event of the evening. The difference in age is 14 years. The difference in reach is 3.5 inches. Walters and Adorno for the WBA Continental Americas Lightweight belt. Once again, with the official introductions, we get it inside the ring to our own Jim Sorensen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it, the moment you've been waiting for, our main event of the evening. This fight is scheduled for 10 rounds in the lightweight division. And the winner will be crowned the new WBA Continental America Lightweight Champion. Your judges for this fight, Rodolfo Aguilar, Joe Ware, and Braden Jackson. And the third man in the ring is your referee, Michael DeJesus. First up, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the green with black trunks, he weighed in at 133.6 pounds. His record, 28 wins, just 1 loss and 1 draw, with 22 big wins by knockout. From Panama City, Panama, by way of Montego Bay, Jamaica, please welcome former WBA Featherweight World Champion, Nicolas the Axeman Waters. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the black trunks with white trim, he weighed in at 134.8 pounds. His record, 18 wins, only 3 losses and 2 draws, with 15 wins by knockout. From Allentown, Pennsylvania, by way of Manuel Perez, Puerto Rico, please welcome Joseph Blessed Hands Adorno.
All right, guys, the rules were told to you in the locker room and in the corner. You know what I expect. Touch gloves if you want to. If not, go back to your corners.
Main event of the evening, Nicolas the Axeman Waters. Long-awaited return last year after 6 years and 3 months away from the ring after his fight against Lomachenko. Here we go. It's time to fight. The former world champion, Walters, in the green with black trunks, black with the white trim, Joseph Blessed Hands Adorno.
Yeah, and this is also a return to 135 for Joseph Adorno, who was campaigning at 140 for several big fights.
And the last couple of fights were way out of his weight class, Chris, just, I think, to get back into things. And now he is, as he told us in the fighter meetings, where he wants to be.
Yeah, focus Adorno could be in dangerous Adorno, but this is kind of one of those measuring stick fights to see just how focused he's going to be. As Walters, maybe not in his prime, but again, an ex-world champion who was a dominant world champion in his time.
And don't blink, 12 of the 15 career knockouts for Joseph Adorno have come in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, he's very aggressive, and he's a very tricky and powerful left hook.
Walters stopped in that lone loss to Lomachenko.
Yeah, that was more like Lomachenko just basically made him quit. Yeah,
that's when he was with Lomachenko.
Yeah, that featherweight Lomachenko was very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, because he was big for the weight class too, so he was able to physically move guys, not like how he is at 135. Nice feints from Adorno. And you can see both men respecting each other's power early on here.
Yeah, you gotta feel out around here. You see Adorno using more of the ring. Walters trying to stalk, but not cutting off the ring, so a little bit of lulls in the action.
Walters using more of his aura than actual punches at this point.
Yeah, he's trying to put out some jabs. See what kind of reaction he gets to them, and to Adorno as well.
I'm curious to see the punch of Walters at this weight. We've never seen him quite this heavy at a high level.
Adorno just missed that check hook there. Walter shrugs his shoulders.
Both parents from Puerto Rico. He spent part of his childhood there. Born in Jersey, fighting out of Pennsylvania.
Stiff jab from Adorno a few moments ago, and comes back Walters with a stiff jab. Pops the head up of Adorno.
Yeah, both of these guys, island guys, right? I mean,
yep.
Puerto Rico and Jamaica.
Two explosive, athletic Islanders.
And Nicolas Walters made it very clear throughout the week that his favorite fighter is Juan Manuel. Win or lose, he said, I'm getting that picture tonight. Representing Jamaica with the green gloves, green with the black on his trunks. 22 of those 28 wins for the former WBA featherweight world champion by knockout.
We're going to start crouching down just a little bit more. Now let's put the jab here, under the neck, at the chest, but keep the chin tucked, Joe. You don't got to take pictures looking up like this. Yeah, I know. That's why we got to stay tucked. We know it's coming. Be patient, baby. Your jab is just as effective. We needed a little bit more.
Mark Robertson, the lead in the corner of Adorno. Change in trainer, change in the vibe, and Jaime Marino, the lead for Nicolas Walters. Emiliano has fought here on ProBox TV. Round number 2 of our main event of the evening.
Big swing and a miss there from Walters.
Yeah, you see both guys, you know, I think one of the reasons why this fight is staying on the outside so much, also both guys are throwing hard jabs every time. Nobody's changing up the speed on the jab, trying to use and maybe the equivalent of an off-speed pitch type of jab where you kind of lull your opponent in. Everything is a heavy jab, and it's, you know, backing the opponent up every time he comes at him.
I'm impressed with Walters' balance thus far, you know, for a 38-year-old who hasn't been that active in the last 6 years. Looks to be strong, looks to be set. Adorno doing a good job of feinting, though. It's a good thing to do against a puncher. Get them offset, off rhythm.
Yeah, and then, you know, what you like to see is then some reactions off if they start biting off those feints. But Walters trying to stay consistent with that jab. I'm wondering if Walters maybe is not cutting off the ring because he's leery of the Adorno left hook. You cut him off because Adorno's moving to his left. So it would require you to cut him off. It would require you to move to your own right, which would be towards his left.
Right, inviting.
I'm wondering if maybe he's not cutting him off because he doesn't want to walk into the path of the left hook. That could be interesting. I can remember the first Canelo and Golovkin fight. You know, Golovkin kind of let Canelo circle the ring in that direction. He didn't want to walk into the left hook, so he wasn't cutting him off like he usually did with other opponents.
That's an interesting idea from Adorno, because he's moving into the power hand of Walters. He's moving into his right. Even though he's inviting you to his left hook, he's walking into the danger zone of Walters' right hand.
Adorno's entire family in attendance here tonight inside our ProBox TV World Headquarters for the main event. And Adorno said the Puerto Rican Floridians will also be coming through those turnstiles as he fights Nicolas Walters.
Walters jab. Yeah, he's growing in confidence. Dangerous thing to do with a former champ with power the way Walters does.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know if Adorno's being consistent enough to, take control, and Walters' confidence is growing. A savvy vet is Walters, of course. The jab is starting to lane cleaner for Walters. Adorno's gonna have something coming back.
Go, box.
And in talking about the weights, it is Walters who in the last two fought way out of his weight class. Tonight, actually his first fight at 135 pounds. A regular home for his opponent.
Yeah, I'm looking at the reach and the body of Walters here at 135. I cannot believe this guy used to fight at 126.
Yeah, he's a big featherweight. Weight bully, dude.
Two weeks from tonight, let's do it again. Angelo Leo, 23-1. Made me look brilliant that night with the body shot to Mike Plania. He will fight Eduardo Fantastico Baez in a 10-round featherweight main event, plus unbeaten ProBox TV rising stars 9-0-1 Jacob Gomez and 8-0 Dominic Valle. That is 2 weeks from tonight, right here on your boxing channel, ProBox TV. Round number 3, Adorno with the black trunks, white trim, green with the black, Nicolas Walters.
Good stiff jab from Walters, backs Adorno up.
I'd like to see Adorno try to create something else. He's shooting those hard jabs here and there, waiting, circling the ring to his left, trying to still figure out exactly what is he trying to set up, or is he trying to set something up? And Walters, of course, trying to close that gap. Now that jab is starting to land more consistently for Walters, as there's a good jab from Adorno, too. Trying to see if there's something coming back. With the way I haven't really seen any right hands from Adorno, right? It's been mostly just jabs.
He hasn't thrown anything really meaningful yet. He's been allowing Walters to get his feet wet again, get comfortable, which is a very dangerous thing to do with a guy who hasn't been busy.
Adorno has been with multiple trainers over his career. Robert Garcia, Tino Rivas, signed with Top Rank at age 17. Tonight, the first time Mark Robertson is working the corner of blessed hands. Joseph Adorno did his training camp in Pennsylvania.
Adorno's having a lot of trouble getting out of the way of that jab from Walters.
I'll tell you, Walters, like you mentioned at the end of the last round, champ, how you can't believe he was fighting at featherweight. Look, you can't even really see any fat on him, even at lightweight.
He's lean. That's what I mean. I mean, he's lean and strong here. He's got those long arms still, even for a lightweight.
When he first made his return, he was 148, his opponent 153. Then worked his way to 140, and his opponent was the same tonight at 133.6 officially.
Body shot there by Walters, but also Walters, you can see he's one of these guys with those wide shoulders.
Yep.
They can carry up some weight.
Great left hands from Walters between the jab and now he just dug down to the body with the left hook. He hasn't really let the right hand go at all yet, and that's one of his most dangerous punches.
Defended his title at 126 4 times. Big swing and a miss, not once, but twice from Adorno.
Nice head movement from Walters, comes right back with another hard jab.
Yeah, Walters forcing the pace. Finally, Adorno threw something other than a jab, but it's making Walters get more brave now.
Yeah, but Walters just walking him down and busting him up with that left jab.
Just the third fight for Nicolas Walters since November of 2016. Could make him a young 38.
And a lot of rest.
Big time. That's definitely taking a little time for yourself.
10 seconds. Yeah, at this range right here, you want to see Adorno start to get his hands off a little more. Finally doesn't get any off. I tell you what, Walter's very reactive.
Yeah, good head movement, getting underneath shots, being able to push-pull. But also at this pace, he's not really getting pushed.
Yeah. It's not testing the 38-year-old conditioning, right?
Here we see some action here. We're going to see a lot. Oh, there's that counter, Adorno left hand.
But it was kind of a slap, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit, not a lot on that one.
So far, the best work has been done by the Walters jab.
Top ranks in my backyard over the weekend, guys. Desert Diamond Arena in Phoenix.
Yeah, good card. Good fight.
Valdez Wilson.
Yep. And Sinisa Estrada.
A unification bout against Valle.
Unification bout.
Yep.
Yeah.
Valle. Very good card. Our Oscar Valdez is a friend of the channel. We had him on a couple weeks back to talk about this fight. Always an exciting night when Valdez is fighting.
And PBC takes over Prime. Bandora and Zhu, Romero and Cruz. Our main event, Adorno and Walters, round number 4. And he has Allentown represented on the back of his trunks. Allentown, Pennsylvania. Our colleague, Ricardo Celis, during the fighter interviews, I think Ricardo was trying to figure out, what is Allentown, Pennsylvania? Paulie, can you give him a Billy Joel CD afterwards?
Sure.
You know? That's steel country up there.
Yeah, it is. And Adorno represents it proudly.
Yes.
Oh, good body shot from Adorno. That's that laser hook. We finally saw it. Finally starting to shoot.
Double left hook from Adorno.
Adorno trying to get that respect from Walters. Walters nodded to him.
Adorno has finished 15 out of his 18 pro fights, just ate a nasty uppercut.
That's the thing with long arms, a guy can throw an uppercut from far away.
Walters is just a savvy vet, man. I mean, he knows all the little tricks, knows all the little subtle shots.
He was always a guy, he never looked smooth, but he got it done.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit awkward, but physically super strong. Oh, good body shot, that hurt. Yeah. Good body shot.
Hey, when Adorno gets the hook going, whether it's to the head or to the body, it can be effective. It's just, he hasn't gotten it going until this round, but still, is it going to be consistent enough? Because Walters also understands the psychology of continuing to back up your man so that you take away the confidence from him.
Well, that was always Walter's style. He would walk you, his name was the Axeman. He'd walk you down and chop you up.
And that's what he's trying to do here, too. Despite Adorno having thrown some good punches this round, Walters is trying to stay in his face and trying to break him mentally. And good jab there from Walters.
Well, I think early in the round, Walters got away from his jab and thought that he could get the power shots, and that's when Adorno saw his opening.
Starting to pick up the pace, yep.
They let each other know they butted heads. Hey, guys, we know.
One man fires the axe, the other's hands are blessed. Adorno and Walters.
Those blessed hands need to start flying.
You got that right.
He is not throwing enough.
And that's that championship medal from Walters. He understands the psychology of a fight. The consistency is important. Adorno looking to live off of a couple of big moments. But again, it's consistency that's going to be the one what wins you the fight. Of course, if we got the judges from last fight, that might not be the case. But, you know, I'm just saying the way it usually works.
But this is the MO for Adorno, isn't it? Every time he steps up, he just seems to be handcuffed. Doesn't let the hands go the same way.
I think it's a psychological thing. Gotta be. Because it's the physical talent is all there. And of course, for Walters, psychologically, he knows he's been to at the top of the mountain. You know, he's been a world champion, so he understands, even if he's not in his physical prime, mentally how to navigate a fight. Good combination there from Adorno. Let his hands go.
Great way to finish the round.
Walter says, "So what?" He
shrugs and walks back.
You see the right hand there attempt from Adorno, and then the double hook there from Adorno as well. And we talk about there's a good jab from Walters, attempted hook come back from Adorno. Adorno there with a good body shot. That you see the elbow reacting there of Walters. He brings it right down. He felt that shot. One thing about Adorno, in the moments he shows it to you, he shows you that physically he's got the capabilities to be world class, but it's just few and far between, and that's what kind of has halted his career and kept him from getting to the places that a lot of people believe he can get to. Can he do this kind of work consistently? Yeah, when he shows it only in spots.
When he lets those gloves fly, you realize why his nickname is what it is, blessed hands. The shots are beautiful, they're hard, they're fast.
And showcased in his win over Roldan, which got him the IBF Latino Super Lightweight title. But as you guys talked about, Rodriguez de los Santos, 2 setbacks in the last 3 fights for Joseph Adorno. Round number 5, our main event scheduled for 10. Black, white, Adorno, green and black, representing his birthplace, Montego Bay, Jamaica, for Nicolas Waters.
Beautiful place, Montego Bay. I was there a few years ago.
I keep singing that song in my head, too.
I only went to the Montego Bay that was in Long Island. that blew down during Hurricane Sandy. I've never been to a real one.
Not quite the same. And being from Long Island, I'll tell you that the people in Montego Bay in Jamaica are nicer.
Well, that's a shot.
A lot nicer.
Yeah. Oh, good combination there by Adorno. Again, one of those moments where you see the blessed hands, but you see Walters unimpressed. He's going to come stay in your face, and he's going to try to work you. He's going to try to break you mentally.
If there's a bay in Minneapolis, they're nicer there too, Chris. Just 10,000 lakes there, though. Midway point of the 5th.
Yeah, I mentioned the aura of Walters earlier. It seemed to have grown. He's winning the psychological battle for sure. He answers everything Adorno does well. He's controlling, pushing. Oh, good double body shot there from Adorno. Smart of him to be investing in the body here.
Walters, of course, with that highlight reel fight and finish of the Filipino Flash. Nonito Donaire back in 2014. In a way, once and twice too much for Nicolas Waters.
I'm going to use this term very respectfully, especially because I'm actually older than Walters, but the old man looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. Donaire and Inoue. And of course, the Lomachenko loss, the only one on the ledger of Waters. As Walters looks good in round number 5, guys.
Yeah, and you know, again, he tries to jump right back on top of Adorno when Adorno has a moment of good work or a moment of a flash moment, a nice snappy hook or something. He tries to stay right back on top of him, try to keep the psychological edge and also show him, hey, that does nothing for me. I'll stay right on top of you. And I don't know if it's affecting Adorno, because again, if he's not consistent, he's not going to be able to keep this ex-world champion off him.
Walters also smiles. And shrugs his shoulders and gives a lot of attitude whenever Adorno does have a good moment.
Deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. Yo, we gotta start opening him up with that splitting that guard with a hard jab now. A hard jab, and don't back up. We gotta push him back a little bit more now. I don't feel shit. Do his punches hurt? Joe, would you please give me a
Mark Robertson in the corner of Joseph Adorno. The advice he gave, we gotta start opening him up. We gotta use that jab. We got to get him beaten down a little bit. The corner of Nicolas Walters. Our main event continues. Round number 6. Black and white for Adorno, green and black for Walters. Mike Goldberg, Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.
Another thing Adorno is going to realize as he steps up the ladder with guys like this is you may have vaunted power and it may do a lot of damage, but the guys who have been at the top are not going to be impressed by it unless they actually have to feel it. And they're not going to feel it unless it's consistent, because even if they feel it here and there, they're going to realize, okay, at this level, you know, you got to be consistent with this kind of power to intimidate a guy with the psychology of Walters, who's been at the top of the mountain.
And Paulie, as I mentioned earlier, 12 of the 15 knockouts scored by Adorno have come in either round 1 or round 2.
Yep. And if we know that, I'm sure Walters knows that.
Yes.
And so Walters also will try to get into that, again, the psychology of the fight, try to keep backing Adorno up, showing him that, you know what, we're getting later and later in the fight, and you don't have a lot of knockouts late in the fight, or if you have any at all.
But Adorno handcuffed himself on the way in the first couple rounds. He allowed Walters to get comfortable, get into this rhythm. Just not busy enough. He said, his corner said, we got to start punching, man. We're on round 6 already. We're halfway through this fight.
Good right hand there from Adorno.
That shook Walters. And no follow-up.
No follow-up.
Yep. And the latest, if you will, finish for Adorno in his career was in his last fight, a 5th round stoppage of Jonathan Perez. We are in round number 6.
And that's another thing about a guy who's been a world champion. World champions know how to navigate their way through a fight. You know,
sure.
They know how to kind of balance the way through, you know, and it's not just the psychology, it's the pace, it's understanding when to step to you, when to not step to you. And Walters is kind of showing all of that. You know, he's 38 years old, but he's showing he understands how to navigate his way through a fight.
Blood from the nose of Walters.
Yeah, Adorno has landed a couple of heavy shots this round as well. But again, it's not been as consistent.
Walters said, if I'm going to make one more run, I'm going to do everything I can, mind, body, and soul, to make it a successful one.
Anything, Adorno's been consistently inactive.
Yeah. No answer there. There was a chance for Adorno to shoot that left hook, even to shoot that jab. Instead, he's allowing Walters to kind of circle him and pot shot him.
That nose is giving Walters a lot of trouble. A lot of blood coming from the nose. He keeps wiping at it. Adorno has an opportunity here to really take advantage.
Will Adorno step up here?
Just don't clear that nose between rounds.
Good uppercuts. That'll do some damage to the nose.
Yeah.
Shots from Adorno.
Doubling it up. And a good flurry at the end of the round.
Rough round for Walters. Here we're going to see where that nose was damaged. It's a double jab right hand.
And a little shoulder there.
And a little shoulder.
The nose of Walters. And he's a double uppercut champ. That's just, and that was already bleeding there.
Right.
You see how Walters tried to come back right away? Even though Adorno got the better of it, Walters trying to stay psychologically on top of Adorno by saying, hey, it doesn't affect me. I'll be right in your face.
That's the veteran in him. And now he's yelling at Adorno from across the ring.
That's up to Adorno to recognize that this is gamesmanship, and it's just Walters playing mind games, and he's got to stay consistent and not let that affect him.
Adorno coming off the best round of the fight for him. Bloodied the nose of Walters, landed some big power shots.
And the Jamaican Nicolas Walters can communicate effectively with the Puerto Rican Adorno because he speaks fluent Spanish from his time in Panama.
They both speak fluent English too, Goldie. So
yes, they do.
They can mix it up as well as they want to.
You got that right.
They can argue in Spanglish if they want.
Round number 7.
In the battle of lead hands. Let's see.
See, this is where Walters was very consistent early on. He had the longer jab, the longer arm, not as much anymore.
Yeah, the nose is bloody. The power of Adorno is on his mind now.
Beautiful spin there from Adorno to evade that right hand. No follow-up, though, no counter.
Walters, that one loss, stopped. Retired at the end of the 7th against Lomachenko many years ago. Lomachenko was actually, Chris, 6-1 going into that fight. So Loma was just getting started.
Yeah, he was already world champion.
Yep. It's a great point. It's 6-1, right?
He fought for a world title in the second pro fight.
Yep.
He was unifying against Walters at that point.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. This one for a regional belt. And either a triumphant return for Nicolas Walters.
Yeah, you talk about the way you navigate a fight, and Walters says, okay, you know, we can't have the high-octane kind of fight against Adorno as he's stronger. Go back and try to stay on that lead hand and try to use that stick and circle Adorno, and that's what he's been trying to go back to do in this round. Again, the ability to navigate a fight. You're going to be able to avoid the exchanges with Adorno after you let Adorno get into the fight last round with the exchanges.
The difference now, though, is he's not getting as much respect from Adorno.
He's not, but Adorno has still not created and been able to cause any exchanges this round, as Walters has been allowed to circle him with the jab.
Adorno's kind of guy, like he needs to be able to touch you. If you make him miss, he can't build off his combos.
That's where the ability to create has to come in there, champ, because otherwise it's going to block you from reaching that world-class level. Champions know how to create the offense when it's not there.
And everything you guys have talked about, multiple reasons why someone trying to get to the top, it's so important to take out a former world champion.
Come on, man. Just breathe. You cannot abandon your own jab, though. You got to stay doubling it up, and you got to keep changing the levels. You got to go up top, down low, up top. Who has the mouthpiece? Who has the mouthpiece?
Who has the mouthpiece?
Who has? Oh, you do? Okay. Okay. Okay, listo.
Our main event continues. The former world champion, Nicolas Walters. Joseph Adorno, round number 8. Black and white trunks for Adorno. Walters in the green and black. Scheduled for 10. Walters back at 135. Or at 135 for the first time officially.
See Adorno holding his ground there.
Yeah, literally.
Got to catch and shoot there. He's saying, telling Walters, yo, stand still. But that's the thing. Guys are not going to do you a favor when they know you hit that hard. You're going to have to create that.
Yeah, especially when they're beating you from the outside.
Adorno with a snappy jab a moment ago, but no follow.
Good hook there from Adorno.
That was a nice jab low, hook upstairs. That's another thing about Adorno. He doesn't follow up. He expects guys to go to sleep when he hits them, and when they don't,
yeah, can't take pictures. Again, at a higher level, there's a little subtleties that have to be taken care of.
Body shot from Walters.
Walters is finding out the lightweight division is not the featherweight division, though. He's not the big guy here.
Right.
And he's seeing that the stronger Adorno can give problems because of his power. This is the kind of fight where you're wondering, can Walters win it with his mind? Can he psychologically sort of make Adorno believe that he doesn't have to work as hard, and then suddenly the fight's over and you lost more rounds and then Walters wins the fight? You know, that's sort of the way it seems like Walters is trying to navigate this fight, trying to circle, win the small moments, use that jab, and take advantage of Adorno's inconsistencies with his activity. While Adorno needs just one or two moments in a round where he explodes and he may be able to win the round. Good right hand there from Adorno.
Adorno over the years has faced very high-level competition, as Paulie talked about at the very top of the show. Got a draw with Jermaine Ortiz years back.
If Adorno doesn't get active these next couple rounds, he's really going to kick himself in the trunks.
Because even that right hand he landed there, Walters partially rolled with it, right? So it's a landed right hand. It's a good power shot on the punch, that, so to speak. There's a good right hand from Walters, but again, even that one wasn't clean. So it's the little things, the little subtleties are going to separate you, and the activity of Walters with the jab and being allowed to circle like this. There's that consistency Adorno needs.
15 seconds on the clock. Approaching 10 here in round number 8.
Yeah, with Adorno, it's when he misses those big shots, it's almost like he gets discouraged. And he thinks about the shot that he missed rather than staying active.
Little smile on the face of Nicolas Walters.
Problem is he thinks about the shot that he lands too instead of following it up.
Walter seems to be happy to be back, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I was thinking. Chris gave you a big smile, and he is happy to be back.
If you don't want to use it, I'm not mad at you, because we close into the end of this fight. So if you don't want to take the risk, fuck it. But we can't let him out jab us. We can't let him look like he's more business.
Mark Robertson.
We see that chopping right hand there from Adorno, catches the chin of Walters as he pulls out. Best punch landed in the round for Adorno. But another round where there was a lot of staring contest between the two.
And those dead moments, that's why you need a good jab, because those dead moments will win you that. Whether your jab will win you those deader moments.
Winning the moments.
Round number 9. Black and white for Adorno, green and black for Walters. Good left landed by blessed hands.
I tell you, Walters landed a little uppercut there as well with the left.
You can tell he's happy to be back.
Right uppercut by Adorno, by Walters there.
And they've done a great job on the nose of Walters in the corner.
It's also because Adorno doesn't get active. If Adorno would have an active jab, the nose of Walters would probably give more problems. But he's not active, so you can't be that accurate if you're not active. And so Walters, the work can be done to Walters. The damage Walters took in the corner now can be fixed up.
Yeah, actually, when Walter's nose was bleeding, that's when Joseph was busy with his jab.
Yeah, but I also think that also was a visual psychology as well from Adorno. He sees the blood and it spurred him on to want to push more. Now, no blood. A more lively Walters as he's circling around. And again, champ, you made a good point a couple of rounds ago where it's almost as if Adorno needs you to cooperate with him in order to get his hands off. He doesn't really have the ability or not that much ability to create attack himself if a guy is moving. And Walters was never known as a big mover. He's just a savvy guy who's pretty much circling the ring in the same direction here.
Yeah, certainly not a savvy guy. He was known as the axe murderer, basically.
Yeah, he was the guy who used to break you mentally, which I think he's, psychologically done to a degree here too by continuing to keep Adorno busy in all those dead moments.
No, this has definitely been a psychological battle that
Walters has handled better with his championship pedigree.
Absolutely.
And in the mind of a 24-year-old, when you get into those tense moments, I don't know how you can help yourself from thinking, man, I'm in against a former world champion, regardless of age.
Good combination there by Adorno. Again, moments of blessed hands.
He's got
no follow-up.
2 feet and 2 eyes. That's the only way to think about it. Doesn't matter who he is, where he's been. You gotta work.
Yep. The green gloves flying here. Clock counting down here in the 9th.
Oh, good right hand there by Walters.
Walters having a really good round. Adorno has done next to nothing in this round.
Yeah, there was one moment where Adorno got his hands off good there. He smothered. Oh, after the bell. That was way late. Way late.
Time out. Time out. Come here. Hitting after the bell, 1 point. Hitting after the bell.
Wow. Adorno saying he got hit in the chest. Honestly, Adorno is not. Adorno his body was blocking our view. I don't know if Walters did hit him in the chest after the bell, but
take a look.
Definitely, let's see here. That Yeah. See, Walters wasn't late. Walters is at the bell. Well, see, Walters is stopping. He's going. That's a big break in between that and then the punch. That was a very, very late shot. A little bit of frustration on the part of Adorno, I think, starting to happen here.
It's a huge mistake on the scorecards,
I thought there might have been another one in between that maybe Adorno's body was blocking me from seeing, but no, if that was the one, that was at the bell, and there's a good full second before Adorno actually throws that shot, and the bell has already rung for a good second. So, yeah, that was a bad mistake on the part of Adorno there, and a bit of a frustration mistake.
Honestly, I don't think it matters in the scorecard. My scorecard, I mean, I got Walters' way.
I'm only saying it could matter because the judges, I don't know. I don't always understand what they're watching. Or maybe they don't understand what I'm watching.
We just had a 9-1-8-2 in the last fight, Paulie, right?
Yeah, in a fight that I thought the other guy won.
Right.
Maybe I don't know nothing. Good right hand there from Walters.
But that's also not only a critical mistake, one that may make a huge difference, but it's also the frustration that Joseph Adorno has not been able to do what he has done before, and he's fighting a 38-year-old man.
And another thing, too, nothing to notice, that was we're in round 10. Walters has circled the entire fight to his own left, which is to Adorno's right hand, just to stay away from the good right hand there from Adorno. But and that's few and far between, those good right hands from Adorno. That's what I was just going to say. Adorno, maybe he's looking for so many left hands. He's left hand happy. He's left hook happy. Maybe he should have been looking for more right hands, and he landed a good one there a few seconds ago. Now, what does Walters do when he takes a good shot? He goes right back on top of Adorno and try to psychologically break him and show him that nothing happened. And he's doing some good work here, and Adorno not answering.
Walters just landed like 6 uppercuts.
Yep.
Really good work here. He's showing a Joseph Adorno what a champion is.
Yep. And he can't wait to get a picture with the Hall of Famer Juan Manuel Marquez after this fight.
Well, you know what? He's got to win over Hall of Famer in his career in Donaire.
There you go. That's right.
I mean, not officially, but Donaire, I can't see.
First ballot Hall of Fame.
I can't see not going into the first ballot.
Donaire's pretty much a living legend at this point.
Yeah. Great guy and great champion, and a very entertaining champion, not just a great champion.
Just past the midway point of the 10th and final round.
Walters trying to walk back Adorno. Adorno stepping back.
Michael De Jesus commanding both fighters here late, as he has done throughout the entire fight. Body head from Adorno.
Walters has to be careful. Yeah. He's talking to the ref right in front of him. He's saying low, but either way, you got to protect yourself at all times. Adorno would not have been wrong to just fly in with a left hook there. And again, that's psychology. Trying to answer right back, stay in the face of Adorno.
Psychology has been the word of the night. That's what really this fight has been all about.
Chris, you made a comment earlier. He was just mean. He was angry. He was scary. And you know what? The Axeman still is.
Still is, in a different way, though. I didn't know he was this good. I mean,
savvy.
I didn't know he was this good when he was younger. He was always a super strong guy, very, very tough, hard puncher, but this is a savvy vet here.
He's winning this fight with his intelligent veteran status.
Very, very impressive stuff here.
Jumped into the uppercut, avoided the punch of Adorno.
Adorno needs a home run now. He needs a grand slam, but it's Walters putting the numbers together and Adorno not answering.
Way to put an exclamation point in this performance tonight from Nicolas Walters, man. Couldn't be bullied.
Wanted to come back under the bright lights and make a statement, and they throw to the finish. The Axeman, Nicolas Walters. Blessed hands, Joseph Adorno. The 38-year-old Walters, spectacular.
I'll tell you, all the headlines Nicolas Walters gets tomorrow, he's going to deserve all of them, I'll tell you.
Yep.
Adorno, frustrating, because you can see in spots how good Adorno, the potential of Adorno is, but you wonder if he will ever reach that potential.
Pinche peleota. Estuvo buena, Walters, Pinche pelea no la llevamos, no la llevamos.
Adorno could drop to 3-3 in his last 6 fights. From round 3, guys.
Psychology, psychology, psychology. Right off the bat, I said Walters was able to use his aura to back Adorno up. And really, he was able to handcuff Adorno for most of the night. And Walters, The 38-year-old was getting busy. He was getting active. And in spots, like you said, Champ, you saw those blessed hands of Adorno. Beautiful combinations when he did fire, but just too few and far between for my liking.
Yeah.
He was able to buzz Walters a few times, but I mean, the work rate of Walters.
And not just that, when he did do some good work, it was Walters jump right back on him. Usually, the guy who's landing those, throwing the good combination will try to follow up. Walters, it was like a switch went off in his head when Adorno would get off a good combination to jump right back on top of him. It's a good double uppercut. Yeah, that was when Walter's nose was bleeding. There, you thought maybe the fight would start to change, but Adorno came out the next round and didn't do a lot. And that was a right hand that we thought actually landed partially. That man missed almost completely there. That was a late shot. That was very, very late.
So late.
And that was a frustrating point that, again, you never know what the scorecards are. Could also be costly.
That was a rough shot, too. That was right on the chin.
Yeah. And then Adorno, in his frustration, look what he does at the end of the fight. He goes to the Walters corner, doesn't allow Walters' team to come in the ring. Look, Walters' team is yelling at him because they want to get in the ring. And he just goes to the Walters corner and jumps in the corner. I think a little bit of frustration there as well. Still trying to play those mind games with the fight being over.
Judges have rendered their decision. Is it Walters or Adorno? Here is Jim Sorensen.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for these fighters. And after 10 rounds, the judges have come to a decision. Judge Joe Ware scores this fight 95-94. Judge Bretton Jackson scores this fight 97-92, and Judge Rodolfo Aguilar scores this fight 98-91 in favor of the new WBA Continental America Lightweight Champion, Nicolas the Axeman Walters.
What a great moment for the Axeman.
I tell you, one judge would have had it a draw without that point.
I was thinking the same thing, Paulie.
It did cost him on one card.
Yep. Congratulations, Nicolas Walters.
Yeah, one judge gave Adorno 2 rounds, one judge gave him 3.
One gave him 5.
And Walters just told his mom and dad that he loves him.
That's awesome. What a great story, man. What a comeback. Excellent performance for
I mean, it's still going.
Yeah.
His comeback now, he's run off a few wins in a row, strung them together. He's officially a contender in the lightweight division now with this regional title, putting him in the rankings.
Of all the things we saw tonight, Walters obviously is the biggest story, and I like what you said late in the fight, Chris. You said, I didn't know he was this good.
Listen, world champions are world champions. World class is a different thing, and he showed that tonight. He showed all that savvy that he had. And even though he was a puncher and destroyer and a big guy, he still had a lot of skill. It takes more than just being physical to be a world champion. Nicolas Walters showed that tonight.
And we are the boxing channel, Paulie, so we know he has done that. But how about PBC on Prime, Top Rank in Phoenix? Great weekend to be a boxing aficionado.
Absolutely. Zubers, Fandora will be an excellent main event. That's one we're looking forward to. Honestly, that whole card really excites me. But also Oscar Valdez and Liam Walsh, a solid fight. Sanisa Estrada, who's had a terrific career, going for the unification. And, of course, Zurdo Ramirez trying to grab a cruiserweight world title and trying to win a world title in yet another weight class. Big weekend for boxing. But I also want to make note of Nicolas Walters. We talked about he was the Axeman. He was a strong guy in the featherweight division. He kind of bullied you then. So we didn't really get to appreciate the savvy skills. At lightweight, he's not the big guy. As a matter of fact, Adorno was a stronger guy tonight. So he had to use all that savvy ring generalship and ring veteranship. And he showed us things that maybe went over our heads when he was a featherweight, because he was such a strong featherweight that's all we could appreciate. Tonight, we saw a lot of little wrinkles in the style of Nicolas Walters. Makes me want to see him again, and he's officially a contender in the lightweight division.
Well put, champ. And listen, I'm sitting like this because this is what I'm going to be doing all weekend, watching all those fights. Yeah. I'm going to be like this all weekend long, watching all those fights.
You do a little channel surfing now that we can. All right, and after this weekend, you enjoy some other fights, and then April 10th, right back here on your boxing channel. Wednesday night fights brought to you by sportsbetting.ag, 23-1, Angelo Leo. coming off that vicious body shot win over Mike Plania. He fights Eduardo Fantastico Baez, plus Jacob Gomez and Dominic Valle put their unbeaten records on the line. That is 2 weeks from tonight, Wednesday, April 10th, here on ProBox TV. We always say that we are your boxing channel. You know what? You know it, Chris, because you did it. There was some fights that took place in Argentina a few days ago. You know the first place you're able to see it here in the U.S.? ProBox TV.
Right here.
Right here, right now, about 15, 30 seconds, so do not go anywhere. The bonus action coming your way. If you have the opportunity to watch it, please do. It is worth it. 3 fights that all went the distance this evening. Omar Juarez over Clarence Booth. Big statements made in the 10th. Jesus Saracho, Starling Castillo go the distance, but the story is the X-Man. For my partners, Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri, Mike Goldberg, so long until next time we see you on ProBox TV.